in a world crying out for a top 10 show. John Rocha and Matt Knost are here to bring you the top 10. Brought to you by the Schmoes Know. Take it away, boys. Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of the Top 10 Show. We are recording once again in our old haunts, the Collider Studios here, back when we used to do it live. I can look at our set right now where we used to sit, Matt. You used to look at the two microphones that we used to be at, the TV that was behind us. They used to put our great graphics up there that Adam and Cody used to come up with.
I think eventually my vision for it was we got so big that instead of those two chairs, we just had like thrones.
Right.
And we were just sitting on thrones, and like the mic came into us and had a nice goblet over on the side. You know,
I'd love that.
Because it's still just the two of us, but the show is doing really well, so we got to spruce it up for the people.
Well, and the thing is also, like, what would you wear? What would I wear? Like, we couldn't be dressed the same as kings if we were going to be sitting in thrones, right? We'd have two different styles, I would imagine.
Didn't you always want one of those robes that you always, would see King Arthur in or something like that, where it's red and it's got the white trim, but
the puff,
also...
Yeah, the fur on the sides.
But there's, like, the dark spots within the trim, and somehow that was... It would just look so sweet. You tell me you wouldn't love to have one of those?
I would, like one of those old school Bugs Bunny cartoons where we walked out.
Yes, precisely.
I love that. I love that.
He's so comfortable and just like, think how relaxed and chill. I would enjoy that show. Just as soon as you sit down, you're like, this is so comcomfortable.
Then what would Cody be in, like the jester outfit? He'd be doing.
We're just demeaning him like that.
No, I don't mean demean. I mean,
I know you want to
have a jester. We're the kings. There must be a court jester.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's running a whiteboard. It's not really jesterly.
I feel like kind of just jester duty.
You know what? If he agrees to it, he agrees to it.
Yeah. I think he would do it. Absolutely. I think he'd love doing it.
I don't know.
If we let him do the drum, I think he would do it.
He was so good on that drum.
Wasn't he great on the drum when he did it?
Yeah. If you guys go back and listen, I think it was the Harrison Ford episode.
Yeah.
He was great on the drum. That's what I wanted to see live on air. Just whether or not anybody's good. That to me is the joke of it. Just like somebody's really terrible and just, man, you were bad.
The truth is, we had a late night show when we were on video, and we should have done a late night show. That would have been the show.
Yeah, that would have been the show.
Yeah. Working blue, having our own thoughts about shit.
Just this.
Yeah.
The audio show, just now there's video cameras in front of us, and we'll have guests and
thrones.
Exactly. Thrones.
And robes.
Just a pit with meat churning in the background.
I love this
Somebody
idea.
just brings you slices of fresh boar or whatever the case is.
Fresh boar would be great.
A mutton leg.
Yes. Some mead.
Some meat.
A turkey leg. Those like turkey legs you get at those Ren fairs. You've been to a Ren fair?
No, I have not been to a Ren fair.
Oh, Knost. You're missing out. Oh, by the way, I'm John
I am
Rocha.
not missing out. I'm Matt Knost.
This is the top
What do you
10
mean
show.
I'm missing out on a Ren fair?
Just on the experience. It is not as glorious. Look, I don't want to piss off any of our fans. It's just not as like...
I already dismissed them out of hand, so saying, why would you want to go? So they were already pissed at me, so you're fine.
I went one time, either a year ago or 2 years ago. It was hot. It was muggy. Dust was everywhere.
That's always good for like big, fat, bearded guys. Hot and humid.
And women.
Yeah.
$25 for one turkey leg. $15 for a mead, which is, of course, beer. And it was super crowded. And there were a couple of cool things that you could throw axes, you could throw stars at like those targets that are made of straw or whatever. That was fun. And then they had like ironworks or metalworks places. And I almost bought a helmet that was the Black Knight's helmet from Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Some guy had actually done the entire thing. And I put it on and took a picture of myself in it. And I was like, this is actually kind of brilliant. I would love to have this, but in the wrong, it was like $85, and I couldn't do it.
Of course it is. That's the only place they get to sell that stuff.
I guess so. I couldn't talk myself into it.
I wonder if it's like every other swap meet or flea market where they have to pay for their space, and they've got to rent it out. Was it a bunch of like one stand was crystals?
Yes.
Type of thing?
Oh, yeah. There was definitely crystals.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. There was one stand where they were like doing actual swords. And
side tangent. I saw a picture a couple weeks ago. I think I'd seen it once before, but somebody had taken and they'd taken those crystals you can buy at a store,
Yes.
And they wanted to fix their energy, and they glued it to the middle of their steering wheel to radiate good energy back at them.
Stop it.
And just the caption of it was like, oh, that's great. Airbag, basically. Airbag. Think of that, because now you just created shrapnel.
Yeah.
You shoot at yourself at 200 miles an hour in the midst of an accident.
Well, and wouldn't it shatter the airbag anyway if it burst out of there and hit at the floor? Like you hitting the airbag onto the crystals could deflate the airbag quickly.
Well, the airbag,
that your head hits it.
The airbag inflates before your body gets there. That's the whole point of it.
Right.
So it pushes out the front of the steering wheel.
Right.
It just comes out at you. So whatever's on the front of that how good is that glue? So the bottoms are just going to come flying in your fucking face.
That's true.
Yeah, and just take you out before that airbag even gets there.
Well, my point is, if the airbag gets to you, right, it's inflated.
Yeah.
But you hitting the airbag, because you're hitting the airbag at the same time as it's popping out, so it like softens the blow, right? But you're pushing the airbag into the crystals of any that are left, so the airbag will pop.
Oh, I
That's
see
what I'm saying. It'll pop, so then when you snap back to the chair and snap forward again, this time your head is definitely hitting that fucking
worst case scenario is the crystals hit it as you're impacting the airbag as well, and it just rips it instantly.
Yes.
And then it's it's bye-bye time. You're not making it out of that.
How's that good energy? How's that for good energy?
Just saw that. I was like, wow, that is one of the you did not think this through at all type of situation.
Well, welcome to America. That's why they have the the whole thing about the toaster, right? Don't put they have those little warnings on all, like hairdryer. Don't put this in water. They do the most stupidest thing, because people do the dumbest things because they're harebrained. It's half the time.
Everybody's dumb about something.
Yes, true.
We've all done dumb things where you look back at it and you be like, I can't believe I was that stupid in that moment, where I was blind to the world except for whatever I was paying attention to at that very moment.
Yeah. I've had those moments where I'm like, I'm talking to a friend on the phone and I go, I can't find my phone. And they go, what are you talking to me on? And then you have that moment where you feel like a fucking jackass. And it becomes like that old school Looney Tunes where you turn into a sucker or you turn into a jackass.
Yeah.
And then you come back to it and you go, oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Just there's nothing you do. Just own up to the stupidity and be like, oh God, this is what happened. This is where my brain.
Yeah,
I have to do that with my wife. Just like, I'm sorry, my brain just literally fried out, and that's why you got that response.
Yeah,
and she'd be like, oh, okay. And then now she knows.
Right.
It doesn't happen all the time, but I will immediately fess up to it and be like, I don't know what happened right there. I was working against myself for what ulterior motive? I have no idea.
That comes with no rest or too many things going on. You get just distracted. You're trying to line everything up, and you can't always do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you're just like, fixing the problem is just this, and you're like, the problem is much bigger than just this,
right?
And you're not really reading into this all the way.
Let's do another quick side tangent.
Go,
Matt. Blake Griffin got traded.
Yep.
And quick NBA talk. What was your reaction? Were you surprised? Did you see it coming?
I mean, no, I didn't see it coming. People on the inside, like reporters and whatnot, are like, I had heard inklings, but at the same time, it's like it's always plausible because they got something for Chris Paul. Good for them.
They did
when they could have gotten nothing.
Yeah.
And it looks like maybe Jerry West is having more influence and taking Doc out of the position of having any kind of influence outside of being the coach.
Right.
Was the smartest move they made. Just in that it's hard to focus on those two things. Those are two huge jobs.
Right.
And I don't know if many, if ever, have succeeded doing it.
Yeah.
Because it went to the other guy doing that, Van Gundy.
Yeah.
And now that's to sell tickets. That's the only reason they did that, is to sell tickets. They have the worst or second worst attendance in the NBA, and they have a brand new, this is the first year arena.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen with a brand new arena. People
For Detroit.
Go.
You're talking Detroit.
Yeah,
right?
Detroit. Yeah. People go just because it's new. They want to see it.
Yeah.
Well, who doesn't love a new arena if you like that team at all? And you maybe go to some more games, and they're just dead.
Sorry, I just heard an old school Virginia person walk by.
So, pilgrim.
I just heard centuries of Virginia walk by.
Yeah. You could feel it.
You
could feel it.
He's a colonizer.
There's a calm in the room. That's a cornerstone of this foundation.
That's right.
Or pardon me, cornerstone of this country.
That's right. Just walk by.
Just walk through this room.
The heritage is a cornerstone.
Would not be here talking right now if
Right.
it weren't for his ancestors.
That's right.
So you got to pay him a little bit of respect, and he's earned it.
We can't tell you who we're talking about, but yeah, we had a very funny
it's not our
conversation
story.
with him.
It's his story.
We should bring him on the show one time, actually.
Sure.
That'd be fun. He'd be a fun guest, a prickly guest and a fun guest at the same time. So anyway, so to sell the tickets, sell the stadium.
They have to. So he's a marquee free agent that sells tickets. He's a known name. He's going to be in a movie coming out in a couple months.
That too.
He's been on tons of TV commercials. Like, everybody knows Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
at least if you're a casual basketball fan, you've heard the name.
Yeah, but how do you, like, man, what a lifestyle change. No offense to Detroit.
Yeah.
But Detroit ain't L.A.
No.
I mean, like, you're not getting on movies in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? You're not getting as many commercials in Detroit. And this is not a 1 year rental.
This takes him into the end of his career, more than likely.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. He'll probably get one more contract after this, but this was his last big payday.
Yeah.
Just because he's a bigger guy and their careers aren't as long.
And he's been injury prone, so yeah.
That's their biggest problem.
Yeah.
I think it's like 34, 35 million in a couple of years on that. And he doesn't play a lot of games, and neither does Reggie Jackson.
Right, who's injured currently.
Yeah. And they don't have the cap room to do anything else. They don't have the draft picks, and they've not really drafted all that well.
Yeah. They missed out on Donovan Mitchell, and they missed out on that dude in Phoenix, Devin Booker.
Everybody missed out on Booker.
Yeah, true.
He went late.
True.
But they missed out on just about everybody not named Andre Drummond for
basically
a decade. Because it was the Ben Wallace. They traded for Chauncey Billups. They got Rashid.
Yeah, Sheedy.
Yeah, from Portland. So they built that team. Well, they drafted Tayshaun Prince, I believe.
But that's a different administration. That's Dumars. That's a different administration.
No, it's totally different. But Detroit now doesn't have the assets or resources to do anything else other than have these 2-3 guys. It's kind of like what New Orleans is going to be.
Yeah.
If they're going to max Boogie, they kind of have to, depending on
Do you think after an ACL? Shit.
It's Achilles. That's
Achilles.
Worse.
I signed him to a 2-year contract, tops. No way I maxed that guy out.
You have
to.
No
way, not off an Achilles injury.
You have to. Oof. More than likely.
I'd let him walk. Fuck it. If he wants a max.
That's going to piss off Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is playing the best basketball on the best team. He's been in the pros. And if you're not willing to commit to DeMarcus, I'm not staying.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe you just blow it up then. Well, I mean, the rumor is they're going to bring Greg Monroe in because he just
and they just traded for Mirotic.
Yeah.
And
did they get Mirotic?
They got him.
What?
Well, it's unofficially official.
Okay.
By the time they're hearing this, they got him.
If they can get Monroe and Mirotic, that fills in Cousins to a degree.
No, it doesn't.
Because you get outside shooting, that helps.
Yeah, but Mirotic is fool's gold.
Yeah,
he is. The thing is, every we have been markedly better with him in the lineup.
Yes.
We're an over 500 team with him in the lineup.
Yeah.
And I think we're like 4-something without him. 4-16 or something. I have no idea. 4-12.
Right.
So he does make a difference, but the thing, maybe if you relieve the pressures of having to be basically the go-to guy on some level.
Yeah.
And he's just allowed to shoot open threes, but he was allowed to do that before. Although it was earlier with a different team with Butler and Noah on his last legs and Taj and all those guys.
I think this is a better team for him.
It is. If they had Boogie and made these trades, they'd be interesting.
Say goodnight.
Yeah.
Back a big man like Monroe, and then you have Mirotic.
Yeah, and then you have even more size. But Mirotic doesn't give any defense, but hopefully Boogie and AD can take care of it, at least at the rim.
Yeah.
It would make them crazy interesting.
My concern with Detroit is the fact that you're right. They don't have any other assets, but they don't have they have just a bunch of rookie second-year players around Griffin and Drummond. There is not a lot of experience other than Jackson. And you're going to win shit with Ish Smith.
No, they need a point guard.
Yeah.
And they're going to trade out Stanley Johnson, and they're going to...
Well, they lost Tobias Harris, which was their best two-way player they had. And I think they gave away Bradley, too. Bradley went over, right? So that's a lot to give. I don't know if the Clippers are better necessarily, but it seems to me like Austin Rivers wins this whole round because they got rid of Chris Paul, who Rivers was clashing with, and they got rid of Griffin, who Rivers was clashing with. The only guy left is DeAndre. He's gone. Is he gone? When's the trade deadline over? Like
13th.
13th? Okay.
And Lou Williams may be gone as well.
Oh, Lou, did they get rid of Lou Dub?
If they can get a first-round pick for him, hell yeah, they will.
I guess so.
And if they can get a first round and something else for DeAndre, now they've got 4 first rounds, 5 first rounds coming up the next 2 years.
But he's been killing it, Lou. But I guess if you're going to tank.
Exactly. His value is highest now.
Yeah.
Let's tank, fellas.
You think Jerry's doing that? He's going to tank and start?
It makes the most sense.
Damn. Do you think they'll get
Once you lose Chris Paul, I don't know why you maxed. I understood why you had to max Griffin, but at the same time, I was like, that's a bad idea. That guy's going to give you 55 games.
Well, that's the thing, and that's what's frustrating to me because you hear LeBron talk about this, and LeBron is like, he went and tweeted about it. He's like, "Oh man, this is what happens. They trade you at a moment's notice, and everybody and the fans get mad at us for leaving." I'm like, "No, dog, that's not the same thing." He's like, like Blake got traded, brother.
Yeah.
You did a special where you shit on Cleveland.
I understand the merit of what you're saying.
Yes, right,
but it's misapplied.
Exactly, but I think he's laying the groundwork for what he's going to do at the end of the season. He's gone. There's,
Yeah.
it would take a fucking miracle if he
I
stayed.
don't know why you stay.
Yeah. I don't know why he doesn't push to get traded now. What's the point?
Because it would piss off the fans more than anything.
If he got traded?
If he demanded a trade now, yes. At least he's willing to write out the contract and live with the consequences.
What about after the Love injury? I feel like now you should get traded.
I think now you go down with the ship.
They should have taken. Man, if this had happened before the Pelicans traded for Mirotic, that would have been the move.
If
that's how you replace Love, is
If
getting
Cleveland
Mirotic.
was smart, they would approach LeBron saying,
Yes.
would you be willing to let us trade you?
That's what I mean.
But they also won't do that because supposedly Dan Gilbert wants to sell the franchise.
Yeah, he does.
And it has inherently more value if LeBron James is on the roster as opposed to not.
And LeBron said he's not going to help him.
And why would he?
Yeah, exactly.
So the smartest thing for them to do is like, listen, you're not going to stay long term. We know that.
Yeah.
It sucks. Trust me. We wish this wasn't the case.
Yeah.
We could trade you anywhere and get whatever we wanted.
Exactly.
Will you help us?
Yeah. And we'll trade you to a title contending team.
Yes.
Like these rumors coming around about him going to Golden State.
That'll never happen.
That's some dirty pool, man.
That'll never
his
happen.
team is playing some dirty pool, and I mean his team of advisors. Because I saw Simmons' tweet, and I think I agree with Simmons' tweet. He said, like, he thinks that LeBron's team is doing this to force Cleveland to make moves to get them better, to trade that Nets pick that they have, and then also to, like, destabilize Golden State and make them, like, question the front office. Like, did they go around Klay Thompson's back or whatever? So,
But all the office has to
dirty
come down
pool.
and be like, trust me, this never happened.
Yeah, it's all dirty
That's
pool.
all they have to do. That seems like a tight-knit community, which is like, we would tell you
Yeah.
if that were the case, because we've thought about shopping you in the past, Clay.
Yeah.
And you knew about it.
Yeah, we almost
and
took
we
you
were
for
honest
Kevin.
about
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Anyway, we can keep going. I can
Yeah,
keep
sorry.
talking NBA for another 20 minutes. And if you don't like the NBA, I think we've been going for like 8 minutes now. Or
That's
something.
true. That's true. We should probably get to the point where
Yeah.
we go to. So, anyway, this week we decided to do the best third movie in a series because 50 Shades Freed, I think, is the name of the new film
Yes.
that's coming out.
I think you're correct.
Yeah.
We had a different idea for this show.
We did.
And we had a guest lined up, but had to reschedule. So
Yes.
we're going to hold on to that guest and just move to a different topic.
Yeah.
And we were like, all right, well, without that guest, let's think of a different topic. You
Yep.
came up with this,
I
and
did.
I instantly was like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
You said you took a little bit of time and then you came up with 5 titles in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, done.
Yeah, because I know that a couple of those would be taken out, but I haven't even scratched the surface.
Right. And also because we did put it out to our Patreon, to the 5 or 6 Boss Hog level patrons who have not contributed a topic yet.
Mm-hmm.
I sent an email out, gave them 2 days. Nobody responded. It wasn't until after we'd already chosen the topic that the responses started coming in, and we'd already chosen.
But don't
it.
worry,
But yeah, absolutely.
We are
That's what I wanna
circling
say
back
that.
to you. We've
Yeah.
already got slots lined up for those shows.
Yeah.
So we'll be in contact.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
I think the last 2 weeks there was 2 shows. We're going to try and pepper them in.
Yeah.
So you get your topics on. We're not going to just strand you out there going, "Hey, assholes, I'm over here, guys,
Right.
guys, hey."
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, so you said third in the trilogy. Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, and anything applies. Like, it could be animated, it could be live action.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter as long as the third episode is the third film in the series. Could be a long running series. Could be a only a trilogy. Could be a 5 installment series. Whatever. It's all in play. So let that work your minds a little bit as you're listening to us talk about it, and then we'll get into it. But Matt, you want to tell them how the show works?
Yes, once John and I set a topic, we go our separate ways and create individual top 10 lists. Show back up here. I do my bottom 3, he does his bottom 3. I do my next 2, he does his next 2. Then we trade 1 apiece. Once we have revealed our personal top 10 lists, we create the shows between the 2 of us.
Damn.
It's gotten really easy. Thank
Yeah.
you to Kyle Harlow, I believe it was. Probably just screwed that up. Anyway, it's a list where it's personal opinion.
Yeah, of course.
Well, this is a taste entirely in that, like,
Okay.
I love this film more than that film. And
Gotcha.
that's just all there is to it.
Okay.
Because I can go back and forth, and I've got a side list of 8 more films that
Yeah, me too. I got like
are in contention.
6 on the side. Yeah.
So at 10, I'm flip flopping. I'm
Okay.
going backwards and forwards. It's between 2,
Okay.
and I'm gonna settle on this one.
All right. This is your choice. This is locked
This
in.
is my locked in because it's the only one. I wrote it down, and it's
Yeah.
the only back and
I
forth
asked you
I'm
before we
going.
started if you had the list ready.
Yeah, I did, and that's the only one I've been staring at because it's guilty pleasure. But the other ones are better. I'm going to say Skyfall. It's the third Daniel Craig,
Yes.
so that's
Oh, you're doing it like that.
well.
Okay.
I think that's the only one.
They're all
I
James
do-
Bond though. Goldfinger is the actual third one, I think.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine. You want to strike it for that?
I feel like
omission?
I have to strike it because it's
Fine.
because it's not third in a series.
Lethal Weapon 3.
Okay, all right.
Lethal Weapon 3.
All right,
Look,
fair.
is it a good movie?
It's on my honorable mentions.
Is it a good movie? Probably not unless you love the Lethal Weapon franchise, which I do.
Right, you do.
So do you.
Yes, I do.
So do
Absolutely.
You know, my brother who's a couple of years older than me, and guys a couple of years younger than me. He grew up with it. Martin Riggs
Yep.
was just a huge icon in my childhood. I loved that guy.
Yeah, man.
So when it got to the third one, I was like, I don't even care what we're doing.
Right.
And I'm glad I had that attitude because the movie as a whole, it's like it's fun, is what it is.
Is this the one with Chris Rock, or is that the fourth one?
This is the one where it's a former cop and he's stealing cop killer bullets from the police force and selling it out on the open street. It's the one that brings in Rene Russo.
Rene Russo, right.
Yeah, and I think Chris Rock is the fifth one where they bring in Jet Li. Or the fourth one, right?
Fourth one, right. Okay.
And then they have, is it a baby at the fourth one?
Well, yeah, the baby.
Yeah, baby's at the fourth and they close on that.
Rock is terrible in that movie. He's fucking
He
terrible.
was so early in his acting.
That's what I mean. He's terrible in that movie.
Yeah, I think
he got better. But
He's way
terrible.
better now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he would admit to that.
Well, when we get him on the show someday, we'll talk to him about it.
Yeah, we should.
That's right.
Once we have him on the show. But in 3, like, it was just another fun journey romp with, I wish they're talking about doing a 5th, and they've been floating that idea for years now. And guess what? I would see it.
Glover's 80 years old, man. You can't be having him be a cop.
He's really too old for this shit.
Yeah, damn right he is.
He's really, does he look 80? I bet you if you put some color in his hair and you just limit it, and, you know, he's in the car a lot in the car chases.
Sure.
He's standing while Mel Gibson is doing his best while running. He's covering or firing at guys. You know, you can make him stationary.
If you leave him on the toilet the whole film like you do in Lethal Weapon 2, then I'll buy it. Then I'll buy it.
Well, that's 1, isn't it?
Is that 1?
That's 1.
No.
That's the one with Busey and
1 is the one with Busey, but the toilet thing is in 2 because it's at the beginning of 2. It's how they bring you back into the fucking series. Yeah.
They had another bomb in 1 because that's where Riggs runs into the kids and they notice his tattoo.
Yes.
And they're like,
That's
I know
when the house
another guy like
blows
that.
up. Yep.
That's where the serendipity of his life and the story is just like, that's really convenient.
Well,
But it is, I would imagine a kid would remember a specific tattoo like that.
Yeah.
But just like the happenstance, and you just happen to serve in the same specific branch of the military and knew some of the same people, so then go talk to a guy, and
Right.
you're like, okay. But at the same time,
That's special forces
you can't have
gotcha.
movie magic without that.
no, of course. And the movie's so good that you ignore things like
You
that.
do. You
And
do.
in a bad movie, that shit sticks
Happy
out
to
like
see
a sore
Pesci
thumb.
back.
Yes.
Now being an even bigger butt of the jokes. He's gotten
Yes.
used to him, and he's a real estate agent in this one.
Is he blonde in this one, too?
He's blonde in this
yes,
one,
that's right.
which is a great character choice.
yeah.
He's just gotten sucked into the full vanity of L.A. because that's what he is. He's
Yeah.
kind of struggling for his own identity.
Yep.
He wants to be liked by everybody. Okay. It's so weird because to me that was Joe Pesci outside of Home Alone until I got older.
Yeah.
And you see some of the other roles that he did.
Especially Casino. You're like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
This is in you?
And Raging Bull.
Oh, Raging Bull, sure.
And there are other ones who's like, wow,
Goodfellas,
man.
of course. Yeah,
Goodfellas.
yeah.
But I saw Lethal Weapon before I saw Goodfellas.
Yeah. That's he does one of my favorite little parts in a movie. Like Matt Damon coming in at Finding Forrester is great. But I love Pesci coming in at the end of Bronx Tale.
Okay.
After Paul Matteris has died, and he comes in and he's like, "I'm the guy you saved earlier it's earlier in the film." And he comes in, he was like, "My brother." He was my brother, blah, blah, and has that nice little interaction with that kid about Chaz Palminteri.
Yeah.
So to me, that I love when really good name actors have these little small moments in movies because they bring a lot of weight
It's a good
to
small movie.
it. Right? Oh yeah, Bronx Tale's great. Still
Yeah.
holds up. Saw it again like a few months ago, just randomly on fucking TV.
Isn't the kid that was the lead actor the one that went Looney Tunes?
Yeah, he went to jail for killing somebody.
Yeah.
in a robbery.
There's been a couple of those, but it's pretty rare.
He was on Sopranos too, man. That kid had a shot at things.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, he was. Anyway,
Yeah,
we,
let's
we
move
don't
on.
need to talk about that
That's
movie.
only our number 10.
9. I don't think will be on your list.
Okay.
Die Hard with a Vengeance.
It is not on my list, but it is on the side list. It is on the honorable mentions.
So that's moved up in your estimation.
It has, but if we're throwing all these third ones in there, it's not a bad movie. Die Hard with a Vengeance. It just isn't the level of Die Hard for me. So, and that's all those films afterwards suffer from that. Except for some stupid reason, I do like the fucking Justin Long one. I can't explain it. I don't know if it's Kevin Smith.
the one with Kevin Smith.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just like it.
Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah. And the jet on the airplane
It's so
on the
ridiculous.
highway. Yeah, it's
when he
ridiculous.
jumps off, and you're like, this. So John McClane is a superhero now?
Well, that's what happened to Dom in fucking Fast and the Furious too. All of us, you were running shit
I know.
out of a garage in L.A. Now all of a sudden you can figure out Charlize Theron, who's an international terrorist. Get the fuck out of here.
Someone described to me the other day Fast and Furious, and we were talking about it. And it's just like, literally, I started throwing things out, and they're like, okay, well, that technically kind of happened. And I was like, okay. On the ice, I just started guessing stuff, and they're like, not that one, but that one. Like, that's why I don't watch this shit.
I know.
Just now it's gotten so fantastical.
It's ridiculous.
It's not long until The Rock picks up a car and throws it.
Yeah.
I mean, on some, like, maybe the car is jumping and he helps push it just enough to where it does a flip or something. You're like, oh, okay.
Everyone's joking that space is the next thing. I mean, they went to a submarine in the last one.
I know.
A submarine.
It was the torpedo on the ice that I guessed.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. But my favorite little part was like the propeller was still going, and that was actually pushing it forward still. And I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a tremendous amount of sense.
Anyway, so you're 9. That Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Die Hard with a Vengeance. It's the last time where the character didn't do that, where he morphed into something that he's no longer.
Yeah.
Like in the one after that, where they're in Russia, is one of the worst.
Oh, it's terrible.
It is.
Fucking
It sucks. It just killed the. It makes no sense. Like it fails so many times the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's the last time where it just shows up. It's John McClane, and he's not quite fully superhero. He's just a guy. And he happens to get in this situation, and he figures it out just a little bit quicker than everybody else.
Yeah.
And I like the games and the traps they set up along the way, and taught me the 5-gallon, 3-gallon. How do you get 4 gallons in?
Yeah.
And now I know that.
Good call. Yeah. That's right.
From that movie, and it stuck with me. Like the stupid things like that, like the Monty Hall question. Do you know that one?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Well, it's always more advantageous to pick again.
Yep.
Because you're reducing your overall odds of guessing wrong the first time, and you're like, okay, once you break it down for me. But in that one, I was like, oh, wow, that's really interesting to throw in the middle of an action flick when you're not trying to challenge people's minds.
Right.
Especially in a third Die Hard movie.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I like bringing in Sam Jackson, the way that they interact. And he doesn't want to help him, but at the same time, like, I like Zeus's, I think it was Zeus.
Yeah.
His character and the introduction of him, bring him down into Harlem with that sign and whatnot. Well. And it just kind of has to do it. Is Irons and his crew a little bit over the top? Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not my problem with the movie. I think my problem with the movie is more the side characters that are in Bruce Willis's world this time around. Other than Sam, everyone else is kind of boring. All the other character actors that are around in his world is kind of boring. Whereas when you compare it to Die Hard, like Goodenough, all the other side, like Bonnie Bedelia, or is it Bonnie Bedelia, like her friends, the dude going, Hans, Booby. Like you have
the cokehead.
Yeah, Johnson & Johnson, the FBI guys, Dwayne down on the ground, Reginald Vell Johnson, who was his friend. Like you had a great mix of character actors who had a rich life and interesting characters. And in this film, they're boring as fuck. They're all just fucking boring.
Because the focus is entirely, you can tell the entire production is let's make Bruce Willis happy.
Exactly, and that's what bothers me.
The whole thing.
Because the thing that made the magic of the first one work is that it's not about 100% Bruce Willis.
And they
it's about everyone
replicated
else.
that with bringing in like Dennis Franz in the second one.
Right.
And what's the gentleman's name from? Was it not All in the Family?
You talking Fred Thompson?
The older black guy with shaved head, John Amos.
Yes, John Amos. Right.
I met him once. Nice guy. Yeah. He used to come to the store late nights on like Mondays.
Oh, how funny.
Just did it for 6 weeks.
Did he ever come watch Jimmy Walker? Did he ever come
4
watch
out of 6. No, they don't like each other.
Yeah, I know, dude.
At all.
Well, he had a lot of problems on that fucking show. He talks about it, though, because he hated the fact that they turned the show. He thought the show was about the social stuff about being
the dynamic
poor.
of the parents and the struggle.
Being poor and struggling, all this. But once they made it a sitcom about Jimmy Walker and dynamite and catchphrases, he got really pissed because he started to get marginalized. And he was an established actor coming off the stage.
I
numerous
understand.
Other productions and roots.
I understand his objection.
Oh, absolutely.
And I understand their choice.
Yes.
You have to do it. It draws the most eyes. We're a business. We're about making money.
Well, that's why they killed him off, because he
eventually got pissed.
Well, yeah, he wanted more money. He put them in a corner where they wouldn't show up on set, so they told him, fuck you, you're fired. And they killed him off. And he said,
I didn't know that part of it.
I regret the decision. Like, he did an interview about it a few months ago or last year, and he said, I regretted that decision, and Aaron and I have made up since. Aaron Spelling and I have made up since, but at the time, I was really pissed. But I see now as an older man looking back that if I had a little more forethought and I wasn't so full of hubris, I wouldn't have made that decision. And you respect that, like that he understands and blah, blah, blah. And because I remember that when they killed him off, it was like, what? I thought he died for real. Like, it was weird.
Oh, yeah. It was a different time.
Yeah, because like with what's-her-face, Gene Stapleton and All in the Family, like, she really died.
Yeah.
So you were like, oh, shit, you know?
I just remember hearing about it as a kid, like, oh, that was a really moving when he dies.
Yes,
and her portrayal. I've actually seen the clip of her giving a hell of a performance, where you can tell, like, yeah, if I cared about these characters, that would be really. I just didn't watch the show. To me, it was the caricature. All the objections he had are when I would finally was of the age to watch it. It was just like, I don't want to watch that. That's not entertaining to me.
We don't do those anymore in sitcoms.
Hell no.
We never have those kind of deaths. But all through the 70s and 80s, we had that in sitcoms. People died. People got raped. Like fucking Arnold in Different Strokes was almost molested by a pedophile. It's on a sitcom. We don't do that anymore.
It was a very special.
Yeah, the very special. That's right.
When they told you knew on the preamble to the show.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is going to be a heavy one.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it going to be Kelly Kapowski dealing with the
drugs?
Speed?
That's right, the Speed.
Yeah, I'm a maniac. Yeah,
well, that was Jesse Spano. That was Jesse.
Jesse Spano.
Yeah, that's right.
Or what was it? Michael J. Fox with alcohol.
Oh, that's right.
And there was always they do that every once again where they're going for Emmy bait kind of stuff.
Yeah, there was a time, man.
Yeah. I'm sure they might do it eventually again if they thought they could get eyeballs with it.
I think there's just so much drama now, they don't need to put them in the sitcoms, but I think that's what made those ones so great. Even Mork and Mindy had fucking drama, and that was like, one of the funniest shows.
Yeah, but trying to pitch that show without understanding who Robin Williams is doesn't make any sense to me.
Nope.
The fact that this was going to go and... Wow. It's crazy talk. All right, so my number 8 is the Bourne Ultimatum.
That's a punt.
Okay.
Is that up to me now?
Yep.
Okay. It's been a while since we've done a 101, man.
Yeah.
All right, so my number 10 is probably, I don't know if it's on your list, probably a punt, or maybe it's on your honorable mentions. Rocky 3.
No.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
No.
You're going to put Lethal Weapon 3 on your list? You're not going to put Rocky 3?
Because there's only one Rocky to me, Rocky 4.
Oh, I see.
There's only one Rocky to me.
I see. All right.
I'm sorry. Look, if I don't care for the first one, what makes you think I'm coming circling the wagon back
Because
to the
Mr.
third
T.
one?
It's Mr. T.
It's fine.
Oh, my God.
It's fine. Listen,
Come on.
Did defeating Clubber Lang stop communism?
No.
It did not.
It didn't stop communism.
That's Ivan Drago. When Rocky took down Ivan Drago, the Iron Curtain came down.
Well, yes. But we have Putin now, so was it really the right decision? I feel like he didn't make the right decision.
I don't know. I don't live in that country.
Fair.
So
do we have any Moscow listeners? Do we have any Russian listeners?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know if we do or don't.
Do we stretch out all the way up to
Do we have
Moscow?
any Russian listeners? Let us know. Hit us up on Twitter if you're on Twitter. If not, find us on Facebook.
Yes. Hit us up on-
Facebook.com/groups/ the top 10.
There you go.
Top 10 show with the number 10.
Hit us up on the Twitter. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, Rocky 3. Talk to me.
Rocky 3, man. I mean, for me, this was a film that, like, obviously I love the first one. I love the second one. I like the second one. I don't love the second one. The second one is best for the last hour. It's great. But Rocky 3 was so much fun because it's Mr. T, man. Mm-hmm. And you get this whole idea of, like, that he kills Mickey. Like, that's crazy that he kills Mickey just by throwing him against the wall. You have Rocky going this crisis of confidence, which is interesting because it's like, yeah, I was a club fighter, then I won the title, and what's the next thing? And this is always interesting about Stallone with his character, that he's willing to take this character into these kind of darker places, into these kind of like, what would happen next? You know what I'm saying? Because they could have kept him going and given him some kind of villain, kept him like where he's at. But no, he has Paulie who's bitter now at him. He has, like Adrian is worried for him. Mickey's been setting him up on these easy fights. And then he finally has to fight someone for real. And Clubber and Mr. T does his best. In essence, Mike Tyson, just before Mike Tyson blew up on the scene, because he hadn't quite gotten there. Tyson was about in the mid to late 80s. This is around 83, 84, I think, when Rocky 3 came out. So it's almost like prescient in what was coming with Tyson.
I want to say Tyson was 85.
Yeah.
Like his early fights, if you can find some of them on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, they're
I know.
I can't watch early Tyson. It's too unsettling. He's a monster.
He was amazing.
Right?
He was amazing.
Oh, if he had just kept that hunger, man.
What else do you expect from a kid from a really terrible neighborhood who got put into a lifestyle he could only fantasize about?
Yeah.
Like the guy had pigeon coops, and that was his favorite thing in the entire world because he was just so poor.
Yeah.
And then eventually he has a tiger, because why else? Why wouldn't you have a tiger? I can afford a tiger.
Right.
And in his mind, I'm going to continue making crazy money forever. I don't have to think long term.
It's incredible to watch what he's become.
Yeah.
Because considering where he was, and if you watch, it was a great documentary. I cannot remember who directed it. It's one of these guys that got accused of the sexual harassment stuff, but he directed that great documentary on Tyson, which Tyson talks about it, and it's himself and his life and what he was, and he reflects back on what he was like, and it's really interesting. So anyway, I feel like Clubber Lang was like the first coming of Mike Tyson, and you see it on screen. He's so big.
Yeah.
Mr. T's so big, coming off of A-Team.
Huge presence.
He was, man. And so he had that, like, and when he was talking shit to Stallone is really scary, like the way he looked, and then he starts like hitting on Adrian right in front of Stallone, and then Rocky has to kind of come to terms with what's happening, and he wants to fight him, and Mickey won't let him, and because he's gotten soft, and then Apollo has to come in after he kills Mickey, and Apollo has to train him, and that's incredible, man.
Yeah.
Takes him out to L.A., puts him in the water, makes him swim, like this whole new, and then makes him confront himself, which to me, Matt, is the greatest scene in any Rocky movie, is him on the beach with Adrian, where Adrian's like, what is the problem? What is the problem? And he doesn't want to admit it, and she finally breaks him down. He yells at her. He goes, I'm afraid, all right? I'm afraid. Why are you afraid? Well, because before you came along, I got beat up, I didn't care, but now there's you, there's a kid, and she said, what do we got that can't be replaced? We got everything, we got money, we got everything but the truth. And then he says it, and he says they're afraid. And he says, because I don't think I can do it. I don't know if I can do it. If I give it my best shot and I lose, what do I do? And she says, like, as a good person should, wife, friend, or otherwise, who loves someone, she says, if you give it your best shot and you can look yourself in the mirror the next day, that's all I care about. And that's the truth. And from that, he's inspired. And just like always, Adrian is the key to Rocky. There is no Rocky without Adrian.
Sure.
There is no Rocky without Adrian from the beginning. And so I love that movie for that. And then he gets his redemption, and it's awesome, and with Apollo, and it's great. So blah, blah, blah. So there we go. That's why it's number 10. I wish I could put it higher, but I have to put quality at times ahead of that. So my number 9 is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Okay. I don't know what my favorite is of that group.
Oh, okay.
I'd have to go back and think about it, and that's why I didn't include it as like, shit, is that it's been
that is my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen them all.
Yep.
And I've seen them all more than once, but the problem is there's so many, and I'm like, okay, which happened? What happened in that one again? I remember the entire story.
Sure.
But it's just like, which movie was that?
Right.
I know the progression of, but yeah, Prisoner of Azkaban is excellent.
Yeah, Alfonso Cuarón directs this one. It's right
got
up
a great tone.
Yeah, it does. It's that change from the first two films that Columbus did, which are like, in essence, like they're Home Alone films.
They're kid films.
Yeah, the kid films.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely not. That's because that's
kid
the age
material
they're
at that point. The story is kid material.
Yeah, exactly.
It has to be.
Yeah, and then in this one, they're turning that age where you start to actually get a glimpse of what the adult world is, and you get shades of it, and you get the idea that everything's not black and white. There's a lot of gray areas in life, Gary Oldman comes in as Sirius Black. You have David Thewlis in this thing, and you have them like turning into lichens and all this kind of stuff that's happening throughout the whole movie. Sorry, and it's just an incredible film to watch, and the darkness that they explore, and then how it all resolves itself at the end with the stag and everything like that. And so for me, it's just like it's the best film because it is the one that fully realizes the darkness that can be there with Harry Potter without losing the childhood stuff and the ages that they're at, that they're going through. So I really enjoy it.
It's in the discussion of top 2 or 3 for me. I don't know where, though.
Yeah.
I got to sit down and figure out, this one, okay, no, all right.
Yeah.
That's definitely like, because stylistically, like the cinematography early on, it has more of an imposing presence and has a darker feel to it, so it sets a tone.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I'm in for this. Plus, the audience at that point was a few years older.
Yes, good point.
Yeah, and those that have read the books now are of an age, and it's just like we got to progress with them as well.
Yeah, and Sirius is like showing him his family heritage, family tree.
Yeah, by the end, it's the first time where they got a good, great twist where they pulled the heart in.
Yeah, which was great. And Harry gets way more knowledge about himself and his.
Yeah, and
it's more foundation to who he is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so you see that all through, and you fall in love with Gary Oldman. So that when what happens to Gary Oldman happens, it is devastating.
That's the one with the map, right?
Yes.
So apparently, in the credit sequence, because you can see footprints on the map.
Yeah.
As it's scanning over, I think it's at the end, and they're showing that underneath as the credits are going.
Yeah.
There's a shot of a corner of a room, and there's one pair of shoes facing out from the corner, and another pair in between those facing, you know what I mean, diametrically opposed.
Shit.
So somebody is having sex somewhere in the castle right now. And there's footsteps in another hallway or something, but it's clearly indicating
that's hilarious.
There's no reason for these to be like this outside of this one specific instance.
Right.
That's like,
hilarious.
oh, well, it's just throwing that into a kid's movie. Thank you, Internet.
Yes, right. All right, so then my number 8 is Ocean's 13.
It's all my honorables.
Okay. I love this movie, man. More than the first one. Definitely more than 12. This one just captures the magic of the first one and gives it even more swagger and then more heart because they're doing it for Elliot Gould, who's been had a heart attack because of Pacino, and Pacino's a great villain in this movie, way better than Garcia was in the first movie. Nothing against Garcia. Garcia's great in the first movie, but Pacino takes it to the next level. He's so ruthless.
Sure.
So that the con they have to pull is even more elaborate and more interesting. And then you have them bringing in Garcia to help them do the con, and then Garcia tries to double-cross them with the dude from 12. So it was Soderbergh's way of saying, I get that you don't like 12, but we're going to bring the best element of 12, which is Vincent Cassel, and have him come in and do the kind of villain part, and then fuck him over too.
Yeah.
It's all just so inventive and fun, and it's so cool. Like, the film was just fucking cool, man, from beginning to end. And it's very funny. Casey Affleck and Scott Conn. Yeah, Scott Conn are very funny. They're trying to going down to work in that Mexican factory is hilarious. The dice, Don Cheadle going down with the drill is hilarious, and then he does he's the stunt guy, the Evel Knievel type guy. All of that, and then you have Pacino, and then Ellen Barkin with the whole thing, and Damon with the nose. Like, just all of it is very fun and inventive, and it makes Vegas like exciting and beautiful and vibrant.
Yeah, it gives it the Rat Pack kind of cool.
Yes, exactly. So that when the end happens, you're like so, and then when Clooney, who is of course incredibly cool, and Pitt too, and Eddie Izzard's great in this too, and when Clooney like shoves that final dagger into Pacino, and takes the diamonds away in the helicopter, it's such a great vengeance. You don't need to kill the guy, you don't need to beat the guy up, you don't need to do anything. You took away everything he loved.
Yeah, that'll hurt worse.
Yeah, exactly.
If you truly want to punish them, sometimes that is leaving them alive now to just sit in their filth, the mess they've created for themselves on some level. Yeah,
and you have a great ending where they're watching the fountain and the Sinatra song, which is great. All right, so that's my number 8.
That was your 8. My number 7 is a recent addition to this list, which is Thor Ragnarok.
That's my number 6, son.
Is it?
Yeah,
and I have a very good feeling that's going to move up over time. If we ever revisit this, because I've already seen it multiple times.
Yeah,
multiple times.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, this thing blew me away. Dude, the jokes they go for and succeed at.
And hearing it from you, dude, that's an incredible endorsement. It's like I judge comedies by you.
Do you want to have a spoiler conversation?
Well, sure. I mean, it's been out for a while. If you haven't seen it, I don't know what to tell you. I guess skip ahead 5 minutes.
Skip ahead 5-6 minutes, because if you haven't seen it, like, I genuinely want you to see this untainted.
Yeah.
Because we never did an after. We used to do reviews way back when, and maybe we'll eventually get to that. We've got some ideas in the hopper. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
So we used to do reviews, and I was like, shit, this would be a good one to have a discussion about, because just like I found the choices left and right, even when it missed, I was like, I don't care,
right? Because
you were so aggressively trying to be unique,
yes,
and not in a look at me, I'm being unique way.
Yeah,
it all seemed very organic to me. But from the moment one, I like he gets suspended in the pit,
and
he's in the chain, and I was like, I don't know about this, because they're going, as he's like, he can't stop himself. He's like, seriously, I'm not trying to do this. But upon further reviews now, I enjoy that whole...
Of course.
But in the theater, I was like, okay, all right, what are we doing? But when he's chasing away and Carl Urban finally puts the sword in, and it teleports him back, and the fucking dragon's head comes... First off, everybody gets sprayed with guts. And you're like, wow, that's really cartoonish. But the fact that the dragon's head goes sliding up and then hits... Tongue comes out, eyes roll up. I was like, are you fucking kidding me with this? I mean, you leaned into the punch on that joke so hard. I love it. I love the fact that he took that chance. And he has a great understated comedy, and it's not like they're forcing it between him and Jeff Goldblum.
No.
Throughout.
It's fantastic.
Throughout.
Yeah. And his relationship with Tessa Thompson is great as well.
The Valkyrian former, she was a Valkyrie.
The Valkyrie, and the stuff she goes through, and like when Loki makes her remember, is probably one of the most amazing visuals you've ever seen in any superhero film in slow motion. When they fight, she remembers fighting Hela when all the Valkyrie fought Hela.
A painting about like Greek mythology come to life.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
like seeing gods fight one another
in slow motion, Matt.
It's gorgeous,
it's so incredible. Yeah. And then you have him going through it, and it was the little things that really sold the movie. The little jokes, like when because you can tell he has a thing for Tessa, immediately, and then he tries to like
Tries to play cool.
Yeah, tries to play cool. You use his old tricks to get a woman and stuff like that, but none of them work because she ain't falling for that bullshit. And that when he's like giving her that speech and then throws that ball to try to shatter the window and it comes back and hits him in the face.
Yeah, and he goes down and immediately gets up.
And does the punch.
Yeah.
He does the punch to kind of reestablish his manhood, the fake punch. Brilliant, man. Well, fucking brilliant.
But I love what you just brought up. The choice of that is because he's been used to being on Earth.
Exactly.
And he is... They've taken selfies with him where it's just like it's him and Loki and just like, you can move out the way. Let's take this to get in shots. Like, he has been the biggest celebrity. He hasn't had to impress a woman in years.
Exactly. Yeah,
and now he finally finds one that he is attracted to. And just, I'm not saying that he wasn't before, but you see it on there and it's all of the bullshit. You actually have to show who you are and prove yourself on some level.
Yeah.
And it was never over the top. And I love the fact that, like, when he knows Loki is going to betray him.
Yeah.
And he slaps that stunning thing on him. It's just like, I know who you are. Yeah. Like, he's finally understanding. He's grown. It's just like, you're going to do what you're going to do, and I wish that wasn't what it's going to be.
Yeah.
But I know what it is.
He used to fool me, and not anymore. Like,
yeah.
But he still makes the jokes, like the joke about Loki becoming a snake when he tells that story about it. It's just great little things like that that really flesh out the character and make you enjoy the world so much more.
When he sees Hulk, and he's like, I know him, and everybody's freaking out. But when he tells Hulk, hey, Loki's right up there. Like, Loki's got to be excited to see him because Thor is so excited. And Loki's just, oh, no.
Right.
Last time I saw this dude. And then when he gets ragdolled, Thor does. Yeah. And he's like, that's what it's like. Oh, man. The fact that they built that into the story makes me... Jeff Goldblum was amazing.
Yeah, he was great.
Amazing. Like,
and what they do with the whole stroking of the hand, hey, big guy, the way they knew that people coming out of Ultron were making fun of that. And they gave Taika Waititi license to use that as a joke. And it was great. It was used like 2 or 3 times when they tried to, like, when he was trying to calm him down his banner, he was doing the same thing. Hey, guy, hey, big guy. And he's like, stop it. Don't do that shit. You know, they make jokes about Tony wearing his pants too tight. Like, all of it is there, these little jokes throughout the whole movie.
But it makes it seem real.
Exactly. And it never loses the stakes. Not one time do you not sense what's at stake. And Blanchett is sexy and incredible and
the
powerful.
Best part is usually when they bring in like a villain like this, like, oh, it's from the past and you don't know them. When she walks in and throws the daggers and reveals the previous history, because history does get rewritten. And eventually it would make sense for Odin wanting to rewrite his history and put himself as a peaceful man and united the, 7 kingdoms and did it benevolently. And she's like, no, how do you get any massive kingdom? You steal it by force. And like, here's our true history. And be like, makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I will buy that 100%. Like, it just, every aspect of it felt like they actually put thought and care into it. Just like Guardians of the Galaxy. I feel like those characters within Gunn's mind are thought out. And he has trajectories for all of them. I don't know if that's the case, but it seems like it so far.
Yeah.
So I loved it. I think if we did this thing in 6 months or a year, once I own it, this bumps maybe into top 5, maybe.
It'd be fun for us. Like, we've never done this, but it'd be fun for us to do a commentary on that. Like, watch it and talk about it and record a commentary, and people could listen to us do a commentary.
Let me take like 6 months off of it so the jokes...
So it's still fresh?
Yeah.
Right on.
Are still good.
All right, that was your number 7?
That was my 7. So my number
6?
6, might be a punt, is Return of the Jedi.
Yes, it's a punt.
Okay.
Absolutely. So my number 7 then is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
That is called a punt. That is so offensive on so many levels.
No, but these other ones are so much better.
It's so offensive on so many levels. See, that's where I disagree. Anyway,
right.
So then my number 5 is not going to be on your list.
Okay.
Army of Darkness.
It is certainly not on my list.
I love that movie.
Nothing against Army of Darkness or The Evil Dead.
I love that movie.
I know. It's just,
it's
too ridiculous for me.
That's why I love it.
Okay.
Because the first 2 Evil Deads, they're fine. What? I don't revisit them.
The second one's incredible.
It is.
I love it.
But the third one is the one where when I saw it, I was like, this is in the rotation. As soon as I saw it, just the stupidity and absurdity of the humor.
Yeah.
I was like, I am so 100% on board. And I watch that thing every couple of years. I love that movie. Whereas the other Evil Deads, I don't know the last time I saw them.
Wow, really? Interesting.
Whereas this one hooked me from the first time I saw it. I was like, this thing is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Just
the chainsaw arm, everything.
Give me some sugar, baby. Pulls her in the firing. This is my boomstick. Boomstick was the name of one of my fantasy football teams a couple of years ago. No, like one other person in my league knew exactly what it was.
Right.
That's fine. It's a joke for us. I don't care. I love it. Just Boomstick.
Yeah.
And he still does the Price Mart slogan afterwards, but just like, you dumb heathens. And
It's funny.
you know what? If you're going to tell a dumb story where he gets transported back to medieval times, embrace the stupidity of it, which is what they did.
Yeah.
At no point does it try and take itself seriously.
Right.
So later on, like when the claymation skeletons comes in, it fits the vibe of the movie so beautifully that it just creates an overall effect. I think it's flawless.
No,
That to me is maybe my favorite Sam Raimi.
I know a lot of people love this movie. I know they do. So I'm not. This is not in the Goonies camp.
I know.
This is not in the Goonies camp. Like, I like Army
I'm going
of
to catch
Darkness.
shit for not thinking 1 and 2 were better.
Yeah, I love 2 so much because it keeps the horror element of it still very powerfully in the film with the ridiculousness of it all, because Bruce Campbell's a great lead. I mean, that is his muse. That's Raimi's muse, Bruce Campbell.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, and so, like, to see him play this part this way in the second film, I really enjoyed it. In the third film, it's all jokes and like, you know, fun, out of the realm type things, and I respect it, but it has no horror to it that I really enjoyed about the second one.
I don't like
And
horror movies.
Yeah, and
I just don't find them entertaining.
Well, I'm not a big
for the
fan of
most
horror,
part.
but I like them when they're different, and this one was different.
Yeah, when they're, but to me that one was, maybe it was just during a period where I saw a ton of horror movies, so it was all kind of getting melded together.
Right.
Because in my mind, like it's like a better Friday the 13th, better Jason, better like than all that, but it still exists in that realm to me.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just don't. I know to horror fans and whatnot, they're going to think that's sacrilege on some level, but I don't watch horror, so my opinion is invalid.
Well,
I can't have like a valid horror conversation.
Well, it's your opinion. It's fair. It's valid.
It is, well, but it's uneducated, so
Okay. I don't want to say. All right.
I'm saying within horror.
Yeah, within horror.
If somebody comes in, like when we had Cody and Cobster on, and they're dropping all kinds of obscure horror, and be like, I've never even heard of that movie, and that's like common. Everybody in horror knows that movie. It's a great movie, but it never really percolated above what I was watching.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my number 5.
So my number 5. So it's not I don't know if it's a cheat, but I consider it the third part in a trilogy, and that is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
That's called a punt.
Yeah. All right.
Not a cheat.
I was afraid it wasn't on your list.
That is a trilogy.
Because you connect it, but is it?
It's always been presented to me as one.
Yeah, me too.
Because it came out before I was alive.
Right.
So that's all I've known it as.
Don't brag. Okay.
That's not really bragging.
I mean, please.
It's only like a couple of years.
All right.
It's not like it's a long time.
Jesus. All right. I get it. You're young. I get it. Younger than me.
Look,
right.
we had Wayne on last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever
That
it
was
was.
a great show.
It was an awesome show. So happy he came on. So glad we finally got off our ass and got our schedule lined up so I could say, here's what we're doing. What would you like to do?
That's
kind
right.
of thing.
We have to have him back soon, man. He was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your number 4?
My number 4 is The Return of the King.
That's my number 3.
Okay.
Surprise. Everybody listening. Yeah, fuck you. Surprise. I put a Lord of the Rings film that high on this list because it's a parameters thing. Best third film. I certainly like Return of the King more than I like the second one or the first one.
Okay.
So that's why it ranked high for me. But yeah, go ahead, man. So this is your number 4. You presented it,
Yeah, but you said that was your number 3.
Yeah, but still.
Okay. Doesn't matter.
I'd like you to lead this one.
For me, the second one, Two Towers, is my favorite.
Favorite of the 3?
Of the 3.
Interesting. Okay.
But Return of the King is a very close second.
Yeah.
I like Fellowship, and I understand all the people why Fellowship is their favorite.
I just can't.
But to me, it's just like I already know who the characters are.
Right.
So I'd rather get into the meat of the story as opposed to introduction story to who everybody is.
Yeah.
But if you don't know the characters, and Peter Jackson does it flawlessly, setting up. But by this third one, the scope of it and the size feels fully justified. And even I've seen the director's cut of all these.
Yeah, me
extended
too.
edition.
Yeah, I had to work on them.
Yeah, and I wish those had been the releases, and I wish, there was an extended cut beyond that.
Knost, I cannot agree with you more. I don't care that it was 3 hours or 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Not when it's that good.
That extended edition is so much better to me than the original Return of the King edition. And it fucking ends. It doesn't have no 6 fucking endings. It fucking ends. And I love that.
To me, the theatrical endings seem justified because the amount of time over the course of the 3 movies.
Yeah.
Was so to have that many endings, just like, well, you do have a lot of people that survive this story, and you need to wrap up their story.
That's great. Don't go to black frame. Just cut to the next fucking scene.
True.
That was my problem. I no problem
Does
with
it go
6.
to black frame after every one?
They went to black. That's why there's 6. Why the joke is 6 different endings because it goes to black frame.
I don't remember it being 6 straight. I know there's
so
some
frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, it is a stop-start when you're just disjointedly jumping to the next.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard not to when they're now all spread out across Middle-earth,
That's why we
ending
have
their
cuts.
story.
That's why we have dissolves.
All right. But it still made number 3.
It did because here's what I'll say, and I begrudgingly say this. The amount of shit that I've taken for bashing this particular trilogy made me go back and watch them. I have not told anyone this, to be honest with you. A few weeks ago, I took a Sunday. We were on the Christmas break. I took a day, I think it was Sunday, and I watched all 3 back-to-back. Because I'm like, maybe I'm being too harsh.
Maybe.
You know, a lot of people love this trilogy, blah, blah, blah. And here's what I'll say. My issues with the
Parsing out these words.
Yeah, my issues with the trilogy are still there. My problems with some of those vignettes or scenes, some of those storylines are still there. But Gandalf is magic. Elijah Wood is magic. I'm still not the biggest fan of Samwise Gamgee. I think it's a personal thing with Sean Astin. I just maybe don't gravitate to Sean Astin as an actor. But the Gollum stuff is incredible. And when you get to, and of course, the stuff with Viggo Mortensen.
With Aragorn and Legolas and
and the dwarf and Gimli.
Yeah, I was about to say Kimchi.
Who is John Rocha? Gimli is John Rocha. That's my character in the film. I'm not saying I'm him. I'm saying that's the one I gravitate to the most. That's my mentality.
Oh, sure.
About things.
Yeah, sure. That seems the most relatable.
Yes, except for me. Yes.
Well, it does because everybody else is like Legolas. Who's like Legolas?
Yeah, I'm not.
Name you one person.
My friend Michael is like Legolas, and so we joke about it all the time because he thinks he's a beautiful elf with long hair and does his things. Yeah, it drives me insane. But I'm more Gimli because I'm just more like don't tell the elf and all those kinds of things. Don't throw a dwarf and blah blah blah. Those kinds of things because he's a tough guy, but he also has this kind of like
don't throw me in Helm's Deep when they're having that battle.
Yes,
like, throw me. What kind of thing? Just kind of like do it. Trust me. I'm gonna go in like a cannonball.
Yeah,
and I'll take out the first wave, and you come right after. Yeah, I just think it was to take something that has lived in the imagination and minds of generation after generation because of those books.
I love those books.
Yeah, and bringing them to life in a way that I didn't think was ever possible.
Mm-hmm.
I've never read the books.
Oh, really?
It's one of those.
Oh, fuck, dude.
It passed around me, and some of my friends got into it, and it never really spoke to me. It's not what I read at that age.
I started reading those at 10 years old, man.
Yeah, I had friends into
that
like
shit.
7th and 8th grade started it then.
Yeah.
And it never spoke to me.
I remember walking to the library. I just distinctly remember that because everyone said the Two Towers was the one. It was the monolith. That's the one that's really difficult to read. And I remember reading it and just becoming engrossed in it, and so much so that I kept going back. I even liked those the animated ones, the Rankin Bass.
See, that's what I knew as a kid.
Yeah, of course.
I've seen that. I don't know how many times.
Yeah, a million times.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Matt and I know for you kids listening. Back then, there's only 3 fucking networks, and you had to watch, and they would rebroadcast shit over and over and over again, and so you would catch it over and over again on Saturday afternoons. And they definitely showed Return of the King and Lord of the Rings like all the time. The animated features of those.
Yeah, when they take on Smaug.
Yeah,
that's the one that I've seen the most.
Yeah,
that's just the straight Lord of the Rings one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. When you have the orcs where there's a whip, there's a way. That song of theirs.
It's one of those.
Awesome.
If you haven't seen it and you're an adult now, I don't think you could watch it.
Maybe not. Yeah,
I think you got to be hooked on that as a young kid because I think then it can live on in your mind. Like it's got some flaws when you go back and watch it, but there are parts that I just enjoy so much. Just like I can get through those. Yeah. I wouldn't recommend it unless you're just a super huge fan and you want to go back and watch. If you're this age now,
completist.
Yeah. It's like watching the Animatrix.
Yeah,
which is actually more successful, I think, than the next 2 movies in that series.
I agree with you. Animatrix is fantastic.
It is. It's really good.
Well, in this one, the scope of the battle is incredible, and the huge elephants and all the massive, like the ogres and the trolls, like all this stuff that goes on.
That's a set.
Yeah, I know.
The elephant, the downed elephant, is a set.
It's incredible, man.
It is.
And then you get Miranda Otto's character, who I liked her character more than Liv Tyler's character. You get her resolution when she stabs that is it Wraith or the seventh
king?
King.
The king, one of the former kings that is dead, brought back to life. What are those things called? I can't believe we're blanking.
Rachel's if she's listening, Rachel's throwing shit at
exactly. They rode the dragons around.
I want to say Wraiths, but I'm probably wrong. Is it the Wraiths?
The Witch Kings?
The Bitch Kings?
The Lycan Kings?
No, they're not werewolves.
I'm trying to think of something because a lot of
People are
that type
yelling.
of genre now is fully influenced by that. And
Yeah.
They steal from it. So what the hell was it?
I bet Kristen Smith is yelling at us right now through.
It was, the kings, they all died. They still wanted basically the power that Saruman was offering. So he brought them back from the dead. Now they're his servants, these all-powerful kind of servants. What are those things called?
I can't.
Bring it up. Yeah, when she stabs it in the face.
Yes.
And seeing that in the theater, the surround sound of the shriek that it makes, I mean, it sucks you into that scene as he is being basically collapsed in upon himself.
Yeah.
It's pretty terrifying.
I can't find it, man. I don't know what these...
Somebody will let us know on Twitter.
All right.
Twitter, Facebook, or something.
I'm sorry. I typed in Game of Thrones like a fucking moron.
Yeah.
Anyway, the battles that they have and the storylines they go through was so much more enjoyable this time around. So maybe it was just getting caught up in the whole thing about it. Because sometimes I can resist groupthink. I get like, I don't want to do like everybody else is doing. I don't want to like something because everybody likes it.
Sure.
And so I get that way about it.
Yeah, we all do it.
Yeah. And so, plus you got the Army of the Dead. That was awesome as well. Having them
Peter Jackson hates that part.
Does he really?
Wanted to cut it out.
What?
Apparently he felt it was just too unbelievable.
The ring wraiths.
Wraiths, okay.
Right, ring wraiths. The Nazgul. That's right. Anyway, so he didn't like the...
No, he felt that part was just like
Dead?
it was too ridiculous to bring in this army of the undead that just kind of swoops in. The problem with Lord of the Rings is every time it goes south of cheese, Gandalf can just call in those eagles. And how many times can you do that? So then the battle is won by calling in the undead that just swoops through like a tidal wave and takes out everything in their path. Like, I understand why you have a problem with that. It kind of nullifies all the storytelling that you just did if you had this Hulk-like character.
The only reason I will defend Lord of the Rings is because I enjoy the characters. I enjoy the dwarfs so much. I enjoy Evangeline Lilly's character a lot. I enjoy the Legolas, like Legolas actually not being the chosen one that she falls in love with. I love that he gets a little bit like, hey, you don't get everything handed to you there, Prince. And I like his dad going at it, like Lee Pace and his dad messing with him. So all this, to me, it's just a lot more fun, and I enjoy it. And so I know people push back against it, but I really enjoy it.
Lee Pace, you're talking about the
Elf
prequels?
The Hobbit. That's what I mean. Yeah. I like The Hobbit more than Lord of the Rings.
I'm sorry, I missed that tiny little part of the sentence.
No, that's what I'm saying. So that's why I defend it. So because I enjoy the dwarfs. I enjoy all 12 of the dwarfs, and I know all those character actors as actors. So it's just for me.
The story in those is so paper thin. It shouldn't have been 3 movies.
If you say so.
It's really thin.
I enjoyed it.
I don't know why, like when they're going down the water.
The barrels.
Yeah, why it goes to a GoPro angle all of a sudden. It just breaks the entire reality of the scene.
Okay.
You're shooting it the rest of the movie through this lens.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it goes to a GoPro, comes out, goes back to the GoPro, comes out. I think maybe goes back a third time.
Right.
And then goes back to the way. And I was like, what in the world? So
I just feel that the Hobbit films are more adult. Lord of the Rings are kind of kiddie stuff sometimes, and it drives me, especially the Samwise stuff, it drives me nuts.
I think you have to take that in the context of having gone through World War I, which is what this book is about.
Yeah.
That lieutenants were something that every officer needed, someone to help push them to make the decisions that were difficult and to stand by their side.
That's cool.
At least that was the mystique built up in the British Army.
Right.
I don't know.
But I just don't want him going, we got to get up the hill, Mr. Frodo. I'll carry you, Mr. Frodo. But I didn't mind it in the third because you have that battle with Gollum when he has to throw the ring into the fire, and that battle with Gollum, and he bites his finger off. All of it is so awesome. And then the tragedy of him to die in the fire with the ring,
coveting
holding
what he wanted most.
Yeah,
he got what he wanted.
But then when he realizes it, after he gets it, he like you see his eyes realize that he's about to die in fire. Like it's too late, and that's great. So yeah. Anyway, there it is. So that was your number 3.
That was my 4. What's your 4?
Oh, my 4 is punt from earlier, Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Right. I mean, I know a lot of people like bash this and don't like it or whatever, or don't think it's the best of the trilogy, but I really enjoy the movie.
It's my 3rd favorite of the trilogy.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
It goes Empire, New Hope.
It's definitely Empire.
Yeah.
Right.
Empire, New Hope, and then Jedi.
Huh, interesting.
So that's why it's 6. It's just like I'm not saying I don't love this, but I've gone back and watched Empire probably 10 times as much as this, and A New Hope 5 times as much as this. I still watch it.
Right.
It's not like it's out of the rotation, but given the choice, I'll take those others over it if given that choice.
Okay. Well, I enjoy watching it. And I have issue with the Ewoks, but it's not enough to take it away from the overall enjoyment of the film. I like that, Luke has that moment with his daddy, the redemption moment. It's just so powerful for me. And all the stuff that happens with Yoda, like Yoda dies, and then where does he go, and what does he do next, and who does he have to confront, and all stuff on the barge, which is great, where they save Solo, and the Rancor pit, all of that going on. Like, it was so much fun.
The Sarlacc pit, you mean?
Sarlacc pit, yeah, right. But the Rancor,
is the pit before that.
Yes, so many pits.
Yeah,
Pit the Elder. But like all that stuff that goes on, I enjoy. This is a great beginning. It's a great beginning.
Oh, it is.
And then you get all the stuff that happens going on after that with Leia and with Han and what they're trying to do, and Luke, and he's like a stronger person now, and what they're going to do next. And then they have this all stuff going on with Endor, and then Lando gets more involved, and Nianub's in there. And so there's so much about it that I really enjoy. And then you have that confrontation with Vader and the Emperor, and the Emperor is like, the Emperor finally goes, "Fuck it, you're not going to turn. I'm going to kill your ass." And
that's his only choice.
That's right, because he's not going to turn him.
Yeah, if you can't turn him, because you basically want to replace your older, worn-out model with the newer, sleeker, better version. I don't know how long Vader's got.
Yeah,
he's on this all artificial crap.
Yeah,
and apparently, like I've read some stuff online, the lore of like why have your health controls on your chest plate when anybody that's attacking you could take that out?
I guess so.
So it makes you vulnerable.
It does.
Needlessly. Why couldn't that be internalized somewhere? Sure. You have a million computers or microprocessors or whatever the case is built in elsewhere. Why do you physically have the controls out there? And so the Emperor can take him down at a moment's notice. That makes him vulnerable, makes him weaker.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he could stop the Emperor kind of thing. So he's looking to upgrade if he can do it.
Yeah.
And
the thing is interesting, Matt, if you read the comic books, which have come out over the last few years that are canon, the Emperor was always challenging Vader with another better model all the time.
Has to.
And so it's fascinating because Vader was the one that took over eventually for Maul. And then Sidious was before Vader. So Dooku was before Vader, and then before Dooku was Maul.
Yeah.
And so you have that progression, and Vader is the one that Anakin he converts, turns him into Vader. But in the comics, Vader's always being challenged by other people who want to come up and take his spot. So that when he makes it's really funny, kind of in a retroactive kind of way. If you watch Jedi now, you understand even more so why Vader makes the decision to throw the Emperor down, because he's like, I'm so sick of this shit.
Yeah.
Now you're trying to kill my kid,
me,
and who was going to replace me. Fuck this shit.
Yeah,
you're going down the chute.
I already know that is the choice.
Yeah,
because otherwise, why? It's the same thing with the newest one with Snoke consistently challenging Kylo Ren.
Yeah,
you have to keep pushing him and undermining him to make him want to go out and do the terrible things you need him to do.
Right.
So if you're not undermining him at all times, he can't get too comfortable.
Yeah.
You have to constantly remind him of the pecking order of, I'm safe, but you could be taken out at any moment.
Some people do that in business, man. That's
sure.
They try to motivate people by constantly make them afraid to lose their job. And I hate that when I hear that.
It works for some people, though.
It does. Some people really do, because that's how they were raised.
Yeah.
That their family or their dad or their mom was going to take away their love if they didn't achieve this. So they were constantly in a state of worried about losing their parents' love if they didn't get that straight A or get into that college or get that job or make that money. It just gravitates into business.
Yeah.
I've mentioned it a couple times on the show, but I don't want to get too deep into it. But that girl that I dated for like 5 years, her mom was that way. Her mom consistently withheld love from her unless she did certain things. And I remember I went home for Christmas one time because our parents lived 10 minutes away from each other. And I went over to her house and I sat and watched her mom treat her in a certain way.
Yeah.
And then she would turn to me, honey, what do you think? And I'm like, and I would contradict her mom as subtly as I could without offending her.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You contradicted.
Exactly. But then the next day, I went back over. Her mom was at work, and we sat down in the living room just talking. And she said, "I'm sorry you had to see that." And I said, "Babe, don't you see what she's done to you? Like she has programmed you in this way, and you fall because you are not this way when you're not around her. But when you're around her, you become a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old, and she pushes your buttons and manipulates you. You sit on the ottoman. She doesn't let you sit in the regular fucking couch." You sit essentially at her service. And I'm like, don't you see this shit? And she's like, you're right. But eventually, she couldn't break the hold because it's the mom versus the boyfriend. You can get another boyfriend. You can't get another mom.
Well, it just depends on, is she willing to, does she want to make that change?
Right. She had said she did, but when the time came, she couldn't do it. Yeah.
Rubber hits the road, what happens? Yeah, hopefully she made that change eventually and grew a little bit.
Maybe.
Or established different boundaries with her mom and created a more equal relationship.
Who knows? Or she just got into a relationship with another person and she's the same way and she's happier with that than someone who's constantly pushing her to break the patterns.
Who knows?
That's certainly possible. All right, so that was what? My number 4. We did my number 3. We did your number 3? Or no?
No, my number 3 is Toy Story 3.
That's my number 2.
Perfect.
Good film.
Perfect timing.
My gosh.
Yeah, really good. I think this is an adult movie. It's under...
Absolutely.
That's why I rate it lower over in the Pixar, because I don't think it's as 50-50 as a bunch of the others have been, where there's still all this for kids, which I'm not saying there's not a ton in there for kids.
Sure.
But they go to some really dark places in this movie, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Emotionally, as a viewer of that, as an adult watching it, you're like, wow, I can't believe how much I care about these characters and their relationships, and there's a genuine love between them. And at the end, when they're in Dante's last circle of hell, and they're about to be consumed by the fire of hell, them just the best we can do right now is hold each other's hands and die together.
It's insane.
Oh my God. I can't believe a kid's movie is doing this.
I remember seeing this. I remember distinctly, Matt, seeing this with my group of friends. There was 10 of us that went to see it. I remember sitting in the middle row of the theater all the way to the end. And I remember that scene. I remember all of us just looking at each other, and we're all fucking
hands?
crying. We're all just fucking crying. Yeah, hold hands. Yeah.
Everybody slowly just reaches out their hands subconsciously. It was group mind. Just did it.
I just remember all us looking at each other crying, going, can you fucking believe this? We couldn't believe that we were crying, and this was happening in a Toy Story movie, man.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Because they had established emotional range.
Yes.
Not depreciating what they'd done in the other ones, but now it's not a matter of the human element, because before they were trying to, first one, they're, whatever.
Yeah.
The final arc of this one was about just the toys themselves.
Yeah.
As opposed to the toys in context to people, in context to the world around them and whatnot. Now, it literally is, they're just individual beings.
Yeah.
And dealing with their own mortality as a toy.
Well, and I think... I think you can't have this film if you don't have the first two laying the groundwork of those relationships.
And the characters growing and becoming more complex.
Exactly.
And asking different questions of themselves of what do I want?
Right.
Woody understanding from the second one, I could be here in a pristine condition and live on forever and live on this pulpit.
Right.
Or, on a pedestal, rather. Do I want that?
Yeah.
No, I'd rather go down swinging and have a more rich... fulfilling life.
Yeah, it's the prison of comfortability, the prison of acceptance of the end of your time. And some people do. Some people just go, fuck it. I fought as hard as I could. This is where I'm at. This is my lot in life. Screw it. I may not be happy, but at least there's a certain level of security here. If I stay within the rules, if I let Lotsa Bear, or whatever his name is, Lotsa, I think is what it, Lots of Hugs, or what, I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
Something like that. If I just follow along his rules, I'll be all right. But, the thing that makes us love them so much is that they were never able to stay within the rules of anything. They were always constantly pushing the boundaries of what they can do with the adventures they can go on. And so this is the last adventure, which, of course, we thought, but there's a Toy Story 4 apparently that's going to be coming. So
why not? Oh, they all survived.
Yeah, I know, but I like that ending of this one where, where he hands the dolls off to a young girl.
I think in the next one they can't go that dark.
Right.
They had to tell a funner, a broader story, I think, to extend the series further. Because now, how are you going to get darker?
Yeah, right.
I don't know what you can do. It'll be interesting. Do they focus more on Buzz? And
ethnic cleansing, I guess. Ethnic cleansing, with that toy cleansing, maybe.
No idea. I
guess that's how you go darker.
Where does a toy end up after this? So they go to Goodwill?
Yeah.
And then it's a Goodwill life after that?
Yikes.
And they end up in another boy's life, and now they need to stay with that boy or that girl this time, perhaps?
Yeah, certainly possible.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm intrigued.
And the stuff with Barbie and Ken is great because that's the progression of their relationship where she's like, I'm not just an object. And he's got to actually work hard to get her back. And, because he kind of betrayed them a little bit. So because he was selfish about what he needed. And then she's like, no, you need to do this. And so even within this small little subplot, they're explaining to you how a relationship needs to work between a man and a woman. Yeah. It's just brilliant. You're right, Matt. It's very adult from beginning to end.
It is.
And even what happens to Lotso, he ends up in the dump and everything. This is terrible. It's
he's on the grill of a car.
Yeah, the grill of a truck.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's constantly going to stay there forever. It's
just
terrible.
Get pelted in the face with bugs.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's horrible.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, that was your what?
That was my 3. We did your 3.
Yeah, we did. That was my 2, so we're up to your 2.
My 2 is a punt from yours. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Oh. So then your number 1 is wow.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be a nice little battle. All right, and I'm surprised you don't have my number 1. Oh, no, well, you do, but we punted. All right, so then your number 2 is...
So my number 2 is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Ooh, yeah, punt from mine from earlier. Nice choice. Nice
Thank
choice.
You.
I'm the outlaw. I feel guilty that I don't have it higher, but I just like these other films a little bit more. But I love Good and the Bad. What an epic Western.
I mean, we just talked about it on the Clint Eastwood from a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
We probably, go back to that one, download that one, listen to that one if you haven't yet. Because we went, deep dive into that.
We did.
I guess we could lightly talk about it here. It's just it's one of my favorite Westerns.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. I love the pacing of it. I love the progression of the characters, and I also like that they're kind of different, kind of the same. They're telling a new story, but not really.
Yeah.
And everything about it from the moment early on, like there's that Civil War part that you could cut out, and I don't know that it would depreciate from the film's overall experience, but the fact that it's in there, they made the choice. They're like, they just kind of go through this battle.
Yeah.
And you see the collateral damage of what was going on while they're chasing down this ridiculous, they want what every Western is about.
Well, it's brilliant too, Matt, because they show you the larger picture within.
Yeah, instead of being myopic on just this, there's the world is still revolving around them.
We thought we had the big picture, and then the Civil War shows up, and then the picture is like, no, this is the real big picture.
And then the scope of it when it finally circles back, and it's just about 3 guys.
Yep.
How their stories diverge and reconverge.
Yeah.
And we'll probably more than likely do it. And, it could be one of those things of if you believe in like Hinduism or whatnot, and you come back, then you will have the same storyline with them revisited again. It's like this just sine and cosine curve going up and down.
Yeah.
And your lives will keep intersecting over different lifetimes just because you guys are intertwined.
Yep.
And that's, I don't know, it's just a beautiful Western.
Yeah, I agree. And, fantastic performances from Eli Wallach and, of course, Clint Eastwood, but also Lee Van Cleef. And those Civil War scenes, like the scene where Lee Van Cleef is torturing that poor guy, and that other guy is crying, playing the music, because he's been doing this multiple times, and he's had to listen to other men's screams. And this is a guy that probably heard screams on the battlefield, and now he has to come back in this situation, this camp, this settlements, for lack of a better word, and has to play his music to be louder than the screams that he's hearing in the room. Like, it just must. And when he's crying, you're just like, dude, I totally get it. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Your lot in life right now, like your station in life right now, that you've got to do this. And what kind of mental damage is this going to do to you going forward?
It's just the worst in
humanity.
humanity.
That's a small scene.
Yeah. It's the worst in humanity, and you have to live through it. And you have to. It'll end when it ends, and that's not up to you.
Yeah. That's terrible, man.
Yeah. And that's like every horror story about what people, when they put themselves, collectively we put ourselves through the worst of each other.
Yeah.
When you read the accounts of whatever war it is, or famine, pestilence, plague, just when people go through their lowest moments in life, and you read accounts of that, and you're like, I can't imagine having to make choices on that kind of level where everything is survival or gravest, basest instinct.
Yeah.
Is what is served first. Yeah. You're like, wow, that's such a dark place to be at.
It's true, and there is darkness through this whole thing. I mean, even the battle, the verbal back and forth that Eli Wallach has with his brother, like that whole thing of like, hey, you can't blame me because you went off to be a priest. Who the fuck took care of our parents? I did.
You ran away.
Yeah, you went to the seminary because you couldn't handle it. And I stayed and took care of our parents.
Well, he comes in a fealty kind of position, bowing his head a little bit, and his brother sasses him, and he's like, I'm not taking your shit.
He condescends to him.
Yeah. Just like, I'm not. Trust me, the life I've had to lead, you may not approve, and I may not approve, but at the same time, who are you to judge when you ran away?
Just because you put a cross on your chest doesn't make you...
Makes you know better.
Yeah, it makes you know better. Exactly.
I know your sins better than anybody else.
Boom.
Yeah.
Exactly, man.
So pay a penance for that. Yeah, it's really good storytelling and writing.
Yeah.
And
the changes in their relationships throughout the whole movie, right? Because at the beginning they had this companionship, and then, Eli Wallach wants more money, and then, Clint's like, well, maybe I won't. Maybe it'll take me longer to shoot you off the rope and all that kind of jazz.
Yeah.
And then he finds out the information about where this money is buried, and then all of a sudden Eli Wallach wants to be his best friend.
Of course.
When Ben Carson tells him where it's at and whispers into his ear.
That's the beauty of it. In no way is
so
that
great.
That's exactly what that character would do.
Yeah.
That's what he's done his whole life.
Tuco. Yeah, man.
It's so good. If you've never seen it, please go watch it.
Agreed. Yeah, please go watch. It's a masterclass in acting from Eli Wallach. Like, Eastwood's great. Lee Van Cleef is great, but Wallach is the journey. Wallach is the arc, and he's the magnetic personality that you're watching through all these scenes. He's just so great. Yeah.
It's true, and I think his character grows the most through the course of the movie.
Agreed, and has the greatest end line in probably any movie ever.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that was your number 2?
Yep, and we did your 2, correct?
Yes. So what's your number 1?
My number 1 is your punt from earlier, Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade. As soon as it's my most rewatched of any of these movies.
Fair enough.
I love this movie to pieces.
It's a great movie.
It's come up on a lot of my lists, and I love it when it does every time. Unfortunately, those of you out there have heard me talk about it. If you're new to this, throw a dart at our shows, and I would say you have like a 1 in 3 chance.
Yeah.
You just threw a dart.
Yeah.
1 in 3, 1 in 4 chance. Maybe it's come up. I mean, obviously, look at the title.
Sure.
If you can put this in there, then more than likely I've put it in there.
Yes, you have.
I enjoy the living hell out of this. It's the top of the game. Look, Indiana Jones was arguably maybe my favorite character as a kid because he was the person I could be.
Yes.
He is, for all intents and purposes, a realistic individual. He's an archaeologist, a college professor, and he just happens to go off and find some of the world's great archaeological treasures and tries to bring them back to a museum as opposed to donating to the country's museum that he found it in, which is what we do now. At that point in human history, we were still taking things back. There's a bunch of like Egyptian tomb stuff in Great Britain.
Yeah.
So you really shouldn't have this, but at the same time, your archaeologist did the excavation. At that point, you brought it back. Like there's numerous artifacts from different areas taken to different countries that probably shouldn't belong in.
Right.
So to see that, it seemed like, wow. And when I was a kid, I was like, man, archaeology is the shit. Like literally, because I already liked paleontology. I was into dinosaurs as a kid.
Right.
So this is just a sidestep over into human history. And now it's just like, wow, this is an adventure story because you can't do this with dinosaurs. Jurassic Park wasn't around.
Right.
And it just seemed like something legitimate. I couldn't be Han Solo.
Right.
I couldn't be all these other people, but I could be Indiana Jones.
Sure.
So by the time we got to Crusade, the fact that they bring in Connery, who's only a couple of years older than Harrison Ford, but still plays his dad. And I love like all the tidbits you pull, like the blimp scene, the two of them when they're shot from the waist up. I think one of the two, if not both, are wearing shorts because it was a super hot day that day. Like little things about that it just like no way. It makes me love the movie even more.
Yeah.
In the setup of Marcus Brody, who was a competent character before that to some degree, and now he's this bumbling idiot. And I don't care. Like the setup for him is like, Marcus, you kidding me? A man knows 7 languages. He's got a 2-day head start. It's just like, and then they cut to him. He's like, excuse me, hello.
Does anyone speak English?
Yeah, they go for small bits of comedy here and there, and they go back to their bread and butter, which is fighting the Nazis. And I love the movie backwards and forwards. It's my favorite of the series.
Yeah, I respect that. It's a little bit lower because on rewatching it for me, the Elsa stuff bothers me. I don't think it's as strong as Marion Ravenwood, who's a great, obviously. And I liked even Kate Capshaw in the second one. Is more enjoyable to me than Elsa is in this one, and I do, but because they kind of use her for bits. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they essentially use her to develop a connection between Indy and his father, right? Because like his father having slept with her as well as Indy, like messes with Indy's confidence, and then
but it also shows them that they're not so far apart.
Right, I know, but that they're using her that way, and then later on when they're. When she's going for the what is it the cup of the Holy Grail? Like she, instead of taking his hand, she reaches for it and dies. You know what I'm saying? And then Indy almost does the same thing. Which is a great moment, man.
When Sean Connery finally switches from Junior, which he realizes his son processes as demeaning and degrading, to Indiana, and
his full name.
Yeah.
Not even Indy the nickname. He's a full name.
Yeah, Indiana.
Yeah.
And it cuts through the entire tensity of of the scene itself.
Absolutely.
Like, it shakes you to the core. If you care about these characters at all, when he says that, I remember seeing it for the first time, and I was just like, boom. When Harrison turns back and looks at him, there's an understanding of, right now, I am your father, and I'm also your friend, and I care about you more than myself or anything else in this entire world. And trust me, you mean more to me than that cup.
Which he had spent his entire fucking life wanting from his dad.
Yes.
Which most of us do.
All he wanted.
Which is like probably 90% of men in the world do that. Like trying to get
As
their
you do from
father's
any
approval.
parent.
Sure.
But fathers from sons, definitely.
Yeah, it's a strong one.
And what Connery's character failed to realize is he thought he was doing that by giving him rules, and he also let him, once he realized he was an adult, weren't you allowed to do this? You were allowed to do that, weren't you? And just like I gave you a long leash.
Right.
I treated you like an adult as opposed to a child, showing you love through trust.
Yeah.
Not understanding that that's not the way he processes love.
Yeah.
It's just like, wow. From an Indiana Jones film that you managed to get to that kind of emotional range, this movie is just perfection. They ride off into the sunset.
It's great.
Yeah, I wish it ended there, but at the same time, I wish it also continued. They made 5 more amazing movies.
Yeah. Crystal Skull never happened, so we don't have to talk about that.
No.
But
I've still watched it like 10 times, though.
you've seen Crystal Skull 10 times?
Yeah.
Holy fuck nuts, man.
Look, I love Indiana Jones.
Respect, dude.
I love Indiana. That movie is really flawed. It's really flawed.
That's an understatement of the year, man.
Well, now at this
Fucking
point,
whatever his name is.
7, 8,
LaBouffe.
9, 10, I'm fast forwarding through big chunks now.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm
Anything
just
with LaBouffe,
watching.
you're fast forward.
There are certain scenes with him that are pretty decent.
Okay.
Like when they're stumbling around in the crypts and they find the old Aztecs.
All right, that's
and
fair.
whatnot.
That's actually a fun scene. You're right.
Yeah. And the fights they have to go through there, and some of the when it's just them kind of do things together. When he's swinging on vines and shit.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's like, what in the world is going on?
Yeah.
And like the killer ant stuff could have worked, but it was too much of the killer ants.
Now, if you compare Blanchett in this movie versus what she does in fucking Thor Ragnarok, is a whole nother ballgame, man. She's terrible in Crystal Skull.
But she's one of the best parts of it.
That's not saying much.
No.
Because the
But
accent
at the
is
same time,
off.
that's how good she is.
Yeah, I guess. I don't think she's good in the movie.
No.
I don't. All right.
But I'm saying she's still so professional that this character, like, she doesn't deviate from what she's trying to do.
Right. Plus, I don't like the Ray Win. I love Ray Winstone.
No, he's terrible.
I do not like
It's a
him in this
one-note
movie.
character that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's essentially taking the place of Brody or Salah.
Yeah.
And it's not.
You're telling me after supposed all the years they had together that Indy couldn't sniff out the fact that this guy was not as loyal as he thought?
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't buy it either.
Yeah, either. So,
I've seen it a lot.
Respect. All right, so then my number one is the Bourne Ultimatum, which I absolutely fucking love, and it is one. It's the one I go back to and watch the most, even though Bourne Identity is fantastic.
I think that's my
Famke Janssen.
That's my favorite, but I think that's the one I see the most.
Right. Franka Potentnet, is great in it. Their relationship is fucking great, and the fights are incredible. I just like this because there's a lot of espionage and the stuff with Blackbriar and the stuff with God, was it
Treadstone was the original, and then that was part of Blackbriar or whatever that was called.
All that stuff. Then Albert Finney, you have all this stuff in there, and then you have Patty Considine as the reporter coming in, and all that goes on with him, and then Julia Stiles, all that shit that goes on with it, and he's exploring, like he's closing all the loops. And Joan Allen is great, who doesn't she doesn't get used enough anymore, and she went through a nice run of being that person that you called on for everything, and so it's nice to see her do this here one more time. And I loved Damon's performance in this film, probably better than in all the other films, because he's more in command of what's happening.
Yeah, he has a better understanding of who the character is.
Exactly, and his journey to close and the loops and all, and tie up all the loose ends. Is really noble. And you get to enjoy that with him. And how he gets out of these situations are very inventive and interesting and fun. And I think that's what Jason Bourne lost, is that feeling that he could get caught at any moment. And they made it a little too convenient for him to get out of situations, which broke my heart, because I really like him as Jason Bourne. I think Damon's born to play this part.
He is.
And I think that fourth movie, because obviously the Renner one is something else, but the fourth movie of this series kind of really let me down in what he can do with it, and it was unfortunate. It's not a bad movie.
I watched it in bed and actually fell asleep.
Damn, dude.
I had to go back and rewatch what I missed.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's terrible. See?
I mean, I was tired, but at the same time, if the movie was good,
you stay
I
awake.
would have stayed awake.
Exactly.
But I also waited until because I like most people.
Yeah.
That the first three movies in this trilogy, a character I knew nothing of other than it's based on a book.
Right.
Okay. These usually aren't as successful as the book.
Right.
This was amazing.
Yeah.
When you see Matt Damon the first time fight,
oh man,
it's one of those of how has he never fought in another movie? Because
yes, exactly.
This is absolutely stellar. This is like Liam Neeson in Taken. It's like, where did this gear come from? But Liam Neeson can't do Taken if Matt Damon doesn't do Jason Bourne.
Absolutely, and I would argue Christian Bale can't do Batman Begins.
Possibly.
If Jason doesn't, if Damon doesn't do Jason Bourne.
Yeah, that movie doesn't get made the same way. It doesn't have the same look and feel to it.
And Casino Royale.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Exactly.
With the Daniel Craig
to
version.
show how you can still do the really crazy action sequences, but make it look grounded and realistic.
And close in. The close in fights, which are incredible.
And it looks like the choreography is so good that the actor can be in the scene as long as they can hold the fight.
Exactly.
And now they've gotten really good at it. All kinds of actors are like Zoe Saldana. Is amazing.
Colombiana, yeah.
When you go back and watch, I think the most glaring is maybe Into Darkness. It's either Into Darkness or the one that came after that with Idris Elba.
Star Trek Beyond is the one that came after that, yeah.
Beyond. They have shots of her doing combat and Zachary Quinto. And on Quinto, they got to go super tight, and it's jump cuts because he obviously can't do. And at this point, I think it's Beyond.
Yeah.
Because she's done a couple of the Guardians, and her scenes are awesome. And they're almost side by side with Quinto's.
Yeah.
I think it is Beyond. And his are all like, wow, he must not be able to. It's nothing against him. When is he asked to do this?
Yeah.
Whereas she's done a bunch of these movies now, like Colombiana.
And then Guardians as well. So it's in her blood to be able to do this.
She's done this in a few movies.
Yeah. Well, and you got this whole thing, you got Edgar Ramirez coming in as the assassin, and of course Strathern is the one that's like playing both sides. He's the one that's trying to get rid of Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
And he's got to go
still
toe-to-toe.
keep things alive.
Yeah, and he's going toe-to-toe with Joan Allen through the whole thing. So it's just a really great fleshed out world. And it's a film I come back to over and over again for the writing, for the acting, for the directing. And it's ironic because apparently Greengrass and Gilroy hated each other after the second one. Hated each other.
Really?
And because of that, there was a delay in the script. Because Gilroy said, I'm not coming back. Gilroy said, I'm not coming back. So Greengrass, I think from what I understand, Greengrass couldn't get the script. Just couldn't write the script, couldn't get it. And so they backed up a dump truck of money to Gilroy and said, will you write the script, blah, blah, blah. Gilroy wrote a fucking, kind of confusing, meandering script that Greengrass had to direct because it's all he had, and it was the editor who went in and saved the movie. And
okay.
He won the Oscar for editing this movie because I think it got around that the original cut was horrible, and he went in and cut that thing and made it work and turned it into the great film that it was.
What's what they say about, there's a really interesting documentary about the editing of Star Wars, A New Hope.
The first one?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Where when Lucas presented it to like Spielberg and I can't remember who the other guy was.
Okay.
It's somebody else. I should know their name. It's it's somebody like John Lasseter. So on that level, it's a Spielbergian, but not quite. You know what I mean? But they have name recognition. He was his friend, and they both saw it, and they're like, I don't know. And then they start showing where his wife made the edits and changed certain sequences so it sets up action. She won the Oscar for this, and they say that it only succeeds because of the editing. And when you go back and they show you the choices that she made and you're like, 100%. Like the pacing is utterly changed. How you're setting up characters changes drastically.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a one where she wins the Oscar because I think the story gets around and everybody's like, this is a phenomenon because she was crushing it in the editing. I'll find the link and send it to you. Christopher
Rouse is the editor for Bourne, who won the Oscar for it. So anyway, it's a film that I come back to over and over and over again, and I liken it a little bit to Skyfall. It has that same kind of vibe to it, which I really enjoy.
Although it's more successful than Skyfall, I think. Because it has more balls in the air juggling.
Yes.
Even though Bond's been around longer, when they reboot, they had, the government bureaucracy is only one layer for him.
Yeah.
So the buck stops with M, in essence. Whereas in Bourne, it's kind of like our federal government. what slush fund is paying for this slush fund is paying for this.
Right.
What Black Ops project is this? I have no idea.
A lot of tentacles. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't think our minds can actually understand what our government is probably doing.
Right.
Like I can't imagine it's as huge as our minds could go, but at the same time, the depths it goes down certain avenues we don't understand.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like it does these 30 things you don't know about, as opposed to the thousands we're assuming. But those 30 things are like, it's like I get like MK Ultra.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
That type of stuff, which is like the government is funding mind control tests and stuff like that.
Right.
Okay.
All right, we're doing that? Okay. All
yeah,
right.
what else are we doing? What don't we know about? What hasn't been declassified? What'll never be declassified?
Right.
What things just the Freedom of Information Act doesn't touch?
Yeah.
Because there are secrets that this public will never know.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's our lists.
There it is.
Go. That's our top 10, our separate top 10 lists of the best third installments of any series, animated or live action. And now we're going to compile this list. I banged the last time.
Okay.
With Fetterman. Remember Fetterman and I were banging together?
Yeah.
So,
first person that's ever jumped in with us, too.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Great.
I love that he just was like, oh, okay, we're doing this now? All right. And he just starts banging with you at a crisp. He was on time. He was perfect.
Incredible.
Yeah, if you haven't listened to the Lil Wayne episode, go back. Hey, let them know if you enjoyed it. I know I asked you guys to do that, but we had a lot of fun with Wayne.
We really did, man.
Yeah. It's nice to bring in like a buddy of mine. And I like it when you bring in friends. It's just like a
talented buddy of yours, too, man.
Yeah, but it's just like somebody like clicked.
Yep.
Just got the world and just like, we're just here to have a good time.
Exactly.
That's all we want to do.
And the ball busting was so natural and fun.
Yeah, exactly. He was willing to take a joke at his expense and dish it out at our expense.
The million things kept cracking me up. I kept back and re-listening to those, that whole like 5-7 minutes where he kept saying he was in a million things and a million. It's not a million. There's a number.
But it's true. In this town, 70-some-odd things is a million. Yeah, it really is. You literally have been in a million things. And it's legit because there's uncredited. Like, you're not going to get credited for writing on the DGA awards this year.
Right.
But there's 2 award shows that he did this year.
Or the commercials.
Or the commercials.
Which
or
you have
the
lines and performing.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, so then my number 1 is Bourne Ultimatum. Where's that on yours?
That is my number 8.
Ah, shit.
Where'd you have Indy?
Oh, I hit Indy at 7. Balls! I hate you right now, dude.
That's right.
Up.
Matt Knost, boo my A. Matt Knost, boo my A.
All right, I'm gonna have to. I'm typing this out. So Indiana Jones, then Bourne.
Sure.
Okay.
That seems fair.
I'm not going to give up my damn number 1.
And then your 2 was Toy Story?
Yes, Toy Story 3.
That was my 3. Where'd you have Good, Bad, and the Ugly?
5.
All right, Toy Story 3 it is then.
Okay, all right, Toy Story 3. All right, and then?
Would you give me Good, the Bad, and the Ugly at 4 then?
Well, where did you have Return of the King? That's my number 3.
That's my 4. So it's 2-5 higher to you than 3-4? To me it is because it's 2. Those top 2 are the top 2 kind of thing.
Okay.
Come on.
So you put Good, Bad, and the Ugly at 4?
Yeah, well, why not? Why not? It's our list. It's our list.
Is it our list when you're trying to push yours?
It's our list.
Higher?
John, this is our show.
Don't you use my first name.
John, what are you talking about? I didn't use your full name. You're not in trouble. If you were in trouble, it would be the full JSR,
John
but it is
Steven
not.
Rocha, how dare you? The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. And then what else? And then what now? Return of the King?
Return of the King.
Okay.
Chog, what is that, 5?
I'm sorry to Rachel that we Return of the King at 5. She's going to be really
Sorry,
mad.
she's going to be more pissed that we got the Wraiths wrong.
She really is.
I almost got that wrong.
I have Return of the Jedi at 4. That's what I have next.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Because my 5 you don't have.
Right, which is what?
Army of Darkness.
Oh, I guess that goes on.
We should probably then do...
Oh, yeah, what's next?
We want to do Ragnarok next and then give me Army of Darkness after that?
Sure, that's fine. I'm not going to fight you on it. By the way, shout out to Kristen Smith and those like Photoshop thing. Like it cracks me up. The Paul Newman one was brilliant.
Yeah, she's good every week. Something
Really
she changes it up. She has fun with it. The whatever time she's putting aside each week, because I'm sure it varies every week.
Yeah.
So certain weeks she's got more time, so she plays with more. Other weeks it's just like shit. I was busy. We're happy with it every time. Trust us. We love it every time. So it does. It's a masterpiece, no matter how it looks.
It's true.
It is every time. I look forward to it, and then I get tagged in the post, and I see it, and it either makes me laugh or puts a smile on my face, or I enjoy something about it.
All right, we're up to number 9.
What do you have left?
I have So we did Bourne, Ultimatum, Toy Story 3, Return of the King, Return of the Jedi. All of them are in there. Good, Bad, the Ugly, Thor Ragnarok. And Ocean's 13 is my next one.
What number is it?
8.
All right, then that would make it.
Does that make it?
My next is 9 at Die Hard with a Vengeance.
All right. You want to put that on there?
Yeah, you want to do 13 and then Die Hard with a Vengeance?
All right, fine. You don't want to put Prisoner of Azkaban and Rocky 3. I don't understand you, but all right.
I'd have to go back and watch Potter. That's it. Rocky 3, no.
God damn it.
Azkaban, if we were to have this discussion tomorrow and I could open up my laptop right now and go through and be like, all right, this one, and actually read the breakdown of the plot of each one, then I can tell you specifically it's that one. But they're all it's one big story to me on some level.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, so let's do the list.
All right, I am banging.
Oh, I don't even know. This is a long... okay. The top 10 third films in a series, yeah.
At number 10.
Rocky 3.
At number 9.
The Prisoner... Oh, wait, no, I'm reading my own thing. I'm sorry, number 10. Sorry, to start over again. Sorry about that.
I didn't even notice that. I was just over here because I got blood rushing to my head as if I'm bent over. All right, let's try this again at number 10.
Die Hard with a Vengeance.
At number 9.
Ocean's 13.
At number 8.
Army of Darkness.
7.
Thor Ragnarok.
Rounding out our bottom 5 at 6 is...
Return of the Jedi.
At number 5.
Return of the King.
Coming in the 4 spot.
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
In our top trio is...
Toy Story 3.
At number 2...
Bourne Ultimatum.
And finally, our number 1 movie, it's the third one in a trilogy, is...
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
As it should be.
Oh, there it is. Running into Hitler in the middle of Nazi Germany, have him sign your book. Can I get an autograph there, Adolf?
Yeah, but you just throw him in and he's out just as quick.
Yeah. I like the pause, though, where he stares at him, too, like the fear.
Yeah, and he thinks he's like, oh, am I in trouble?
Yeah.
Am I in trouble? Oh, and then he just looks at him as another fanboy. All right, I'll sign this.
Let's sign this.
An officer shouldn't be doing that, but I don't know you.
And I'll let you get away with it this time because everyone's around.
Well, and we're losing the war, so I can't lose any more people.
That's true. I need all the fresh bodies I can get.
Exactly, and you look young as opposed, but not so young.
What are your summer honorable mentions?
Oh, let's see, Alien 3.
Okay, I like that. It's on mine too. Yeah, honorable
So I had 13. Obviously, Skyfall.
Okay.
Jackass 3D. I think this is my favorite of the Jackasses. I laughed my ass off in that.
All right.
If you know what it is,
sure,
and it succeeds. It's my favorite of the 3. I think.
Okay, if you say so.
Back to the Future 3, but that was never really going to make it.
Okay.
Captain America: Civil War, but I think I like Winter Soldier more.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, oh shit, I didn't even think about Captain America.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, that's probably a glaring omission. Oh well. I don't think of them that way because they're also interconnected.
Thor.
Yeah, Thor. Right.
Civil War at that point, it just I like Civil War. It's nothing against it.
Yeah.
It's not. I like the villain of it.
That way. I just don't think of it that way because it feels like an Avengers movie. So I guess I don't. So
it kind of is by that point.
Yeah, I'm saying if you want to get mad at me. But I just think it's an Avengers movie.
All right. Beyond Thunderdome, Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, Beyond Thunderdome, great.
That's really it.
Okay. Dark Knight Rises as well. Iron Man 3, I enjoyed.
And no.
Christmas Vacation, I thought was a nice third installment because European sucks and first one is good.
Okay. That's one I don't think of, but had I thought of it, that would 100% made my list and probably in the top 5 somewhere.
There we go.
Yeah.
Lethal Weapon 3, we talked about already. Shrek the Third, I like the third version.
I haven't seen it in so long, I can't tell you what happens in the movie.
I enjoyed it.
I didn't enjoy that series as much as everybody else.
Really?
I didn't dislike them. It never really hooked me.
Even the fourth one, which isn't that great with Rumpelstiltskin, I still enjoyed it. It's nice magic to it.
Okay.
I like.
Maybe I need to go back and rewatch it because I love animation. So
the third one's the one with JT, Justin Timberlake, where he's like refusing to be king, and they have to go find him, make him king. And
oh wow,
yeah.
I haven't seen that since it came out.
Eric Idle plays Merlin. It's really funny.
I like vaguely. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But
Die Hard with a Vengeance is on my, and then Cars 3. I kind of liked Cars 3.
I didn't see
certainly
it.
better than Cars 2. That's for damn sure.
I didn't see it. That's not a tall hurdle to clear.
Yeah, well,
as far as I'm concerned.
Very true. All right, well, that's our list. Top third installments of a series or trilogy. Yeah, thanks. I think it's a great list that we've got here. A great final list. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
When you're listening to this, make sure to get your votes in for Thunderdome. Right. The voting ends today at 5 p.m., so if you're hearing this, hopefully part of the Midnight Squad. Midnight Squad.
Yep.
Get them in before you do. So we're working on some stuff behind the scenes on the show, and we have a few things in the hopper. It's still too early to talk about now because we'd like to basically know for certain things are going to happen before we start talking about it. But in the interim, we need to ask you guys a favor.
Yep.
We don't often ask you guys for all that much. If you know somebody that likes the show, please tell them.
Yeah.
Whatever, like if you know somebody that listens to podcasts and they're like, they listen to some sports and they like movies, or they like humor and they like movies, any kind of tie-in you could think of with our show, and just like you've never tried to get somebody to listen to the show, you've never refer us to one person, just one this week. That's all we're asking for is one person.
Yeah.
Because then, basically we need your help to make your show and our show, basically our show collectively.
Our show collectively, yes.
Yeah. As good as it possibly can be. And we can only do that by growing it. And we're at a nice threshold right now. We're at basically like kind of the tipping point.
Yep.
And we need your help pushing this boulder over the cliff. We've done the Sisyphean task of we've gotten it up to the cliff.
Yes, we have.
And we're doing crazy well success-wise.
Yeah.
I feel like Trump all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's just like really ambiguous adjectives.
The best show ever.
But we've done really well with all of your help. So if you could just do that one thing, that's it. That's all we need you to do. Mm-hmm. Tell one friend.
Yeah.
That's it. Physically, look them in the eye, person to person, and say, hey, you know what? Oh, you listen to podcasts? Do me a favor. Check out this one. Actually, because I've done it on a couple friends' phones.
Yeah.
Because you have to find it on Escape. Schmoes know on their feed.
Right.
I just went to their feed and go, boom, here it is. I subscribe to the feed itself.
Right.
And then, you can just download our episode as it comes up. Mm-hmm. It's not going to take up space on your phone unless you want it to.
Right.
And then just, boom, you got them dialed in. But we just tell one friend. That's all we're asking.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it. I'm not even going to tell you my Twitter. I'm not going to tell you. I already told you the Facebook group. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything about the Patreon. Nothing else. I want you to tell one friend. That's from me.
That's Matt Knost.
That's on my side.
John Rocha tells you to sign up for the Patreon, www.patreon.com/the top 10, the number 10. You see all the multiple tiers there. And we've been doing picking your topics. We've been doing these Thunderdomes. Like, we've been adhering to the stuff. So we really appreciate you all donating. And people still, like almost every day I go on the Patreon and there's a new person donating, new people subscribing. Tell us about it on Twitter, which we really appreciate. All those kinds of things is great. We're trying to build the show. You guys love the show. I think we've got a really great show, and we're having a blast doing it. So we want to keep spreading this out, because the more we spread it out, it helps everybody, right? More people come in, more people love it. You get to talk about it with your friends. More people listen to it. Also, you get to have fun with your friends and talk about the show.
The more people we get in here, guess what? The more cool shit we have to offer you.
Yes, exactly.
It only makes the show better for you, and it makes... Like, we've been working on T-shirts.
Yep.
In the background. We haven't announced anything, but it's just like, boom, if we had even, X number or percentage more, then we could have numerous designs done for us, and then we have a few different options for you guys to choose kind of thing.
Right.
And it also will allow us to potentially hire a producer and
studio time.
Yeah, studio time, and free us up, and we might be able to deliver more shows, go back to doing reviews for you guys, or doing, whatever the hell you want.
Right. Giving you shout-outs.
Yeah.
You never know.
Doing that NBA show.
Alexakos?
Yeah. But just, it's so long as you tell one person, and if, say we retain 5% of those people, considering the number of downloads we do every week, that's a crazy number.
It is.
And then if we can retain that, boom, guess what? That only pays dividends for you.
Yeah.
Because... people have been saying, like, why this is a good Patreon because we actually give back. If you're willing to show us your support, we're more than happy to say thank you and give you what we promise.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're both more than happy to put in the work and devote the time to give you guys exactly what you want.
Yeah.
We're entertainers.
That's what we do.
Yeah. So, and plus with more people, we can cater to you better.
Yes.
It just means then I can free up more time to devote to this.
Right.
As can John.
Yes.
And that just, it pays dividends, baby. It pays dividends. There's a T-shirt right there. It just says it pays dividends, baby.
Right.
And it's a quote. It says Top 10 Show. And people are like, I don't know what that is. And then we have a really long address underneath that for the RSS feed.
Matt may not like me doing this, but I want you all if you are a graphic designer, we want to start having conversations with you about
we've reached out to people we know.
Yeah, we want you all to start, like, if you are a graphic designer and you want to come up with designs for us on your own, DM us on the Facebook group page, I think, right? You can DM DM
do
us?
it on the podcast, Top 10 Podcast, all spelled out at Gmail. But
Yeah.
we've talked about it. We've figured some way to compensate you.
Absolutely.
And depending on where it is in the process, who knows what that compensation could be.
Right. Well, at least give you a shout out on the show. If you're building up your graphic design business, we'll give you a shout out to build your website address, to your profile, whatever you want to see, your portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
We will give you a shout out on the show. It's no problem. But we want to start this ball rolling, and we want to get designs in, and Matt and I can start looking at these designs and start deciding what we want to do for T-shirts.
Yeah.
And then go from there.
I reached out to two of my friends, and they're professionals for production companies.
Right on.
And they both said, yes, I will get you a couple. It's just
great.
when my schedule is available.
Right.
Like, okay. So that could be this month. It could be 2 months from now. I have no idea.
Okay.
They got to get paid first.
I say I want people who want to do it right now.
No, true.
No.
But at the same time, like, if we have something to give back to you, we will gladly do it.
Absolutely.
And we figure that out. So, we'll take submissions.
Take your submissions.
Please.
Yeah.
But, please tell a friend. That's my call to action.
Mm-hmm.
I am asking all of you out there, tell one friend.
Yeah.
Make this the excuse of, you know what, I don't like talking to people. Well, this is the one time. This gives you the excuse of making really awkward conversation and giving somebody a recommendation that they're now clearly never going to take.
Exactly.
Go out and do it.
Yeah. And if you have teachers, film teachers, have them listen to our show. Tell them to download our show, see if they like it, and then they can tell friends. You never know. It can spread.
Sure.
I just want it to spread.
Like wildfire.
Yeah, like wildfire. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Good point. All right. Well, anything else, Matt? Anything you want to wrap up?
No, that is it. That is all from me this week. Thanks so much for listening. Talk to you guys later.
Thank you so much, guys. Remember, SK Plus Podcast channel. Remember to subscribe. Remember to leave comments for all the shows on there. The Wanger Show, Beard, Don't Be a Beardo, Meaning of, After Schmo, Schmo Rundown, Critically Acclaimed. All the shows that are coming through the SK Plus Podcast channel. Give them some love. Outlaw Nation as well. Give us all some. And if you're listening to this now, if you haven't listened to Outlaw Nation from last week, go do it. It's great. Drake and I sitting down talking about the Oscar nominations and what she thinks might win, what she loves, and what she thought got snubbed. It's a great conversation with the senior editor at Rotten Tomatoes. So this is a woman who knows a lot about movies. So there you go. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening, and we will see you all next week on the Top 10.